on Bowl Mania.
Aloha from the island of Oahu. Tonight, we offer the present of football. Gift wrapped especially for you on this Christmas Eve. Welcome to the Hawaii Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania on ESPN. Today inside Aloha Stadium, the first ever meeting between the Houston Cougars from the American Athletic Conference and the Fresno State Bulldogs, runners-up in the Mountain West Conference. Malikaliki Maka from Oahu, Chris Cotter alongside Rod Gilmore. Rod, your former defensive back at Stanford. And when you talk about these two teams, Houston and Fresno State, you really don't talk about defense historically very much, but this year's teams, they're a little bit different, aren't they?
Yeah, let's move quarterbacks out of the way for a moment and talk about some defense. And I want to do that because the best player in college football is a defensive player. Ed Oliver, defensive lineman at Houston. Unbelievable. Outland Award winner. We're talking about a guy who brings everything to the package. Comparisons to Aaron Donald, to Ndamukong Suh. That's the kind of talent that he has. And when you watch him, you're just blown away with his quickness. Put him up on a center. Let him get there. Quickness, 1-2, blows by him. He's got that. You worry about athleticism? Not with him. Think a 300-pounder can't get off the ground? Look at that. Leaps up, knocks down a pass. And then the other factor, the relentless motor. He is never down, never out. He will continue to come back and make a play when you think you have him blocked. I think he is the most disruptive force in college football.
Now, you talked about the quarterbacks. Let's bring them back to front and center. Then let's talk about both these quarterbacks didn't start out as starters with their teams. It took them a little while. De'Aaron King all the way until 3 games left to go in the year before he became the starter at Houston.
But both these guys settled down their teams. You talk about King. You're talking about a guy who's a dynamic athlete, a dual threat, a guy who can really run with the football. But look what he did the last 3 games of the season. Over 300 yards each of those outings. And in that South Florida game, he didn't start that game and came in and threw for more than 200. And where he excels, in my view, is the deep ball down the field. He has a nice touch on it. That'll be fun to see. On the other side, Marcus McMaryion is outstanding. You're again talking about a guy who's done some really good stuff. He got to the team late, but he's a guy that can also do things with his feet, get on the edge, and he throws the ball down the field well. Not so much the short passes where he excels, but the deep ball he does a really nice job with as well.
Fresno State and Houston, 2 quarterbacks coming into their own and really starting to build a little confidence, and 2 dominant defenses. It's all coming up next here on ESPN. And welcome back to the Hawaii Bowl. Aloha Stadium, Houston and Fresno State. And this is the point in the broadcast when we annoy all of our friends and family in the upper Midwest and in the Northeast, because it's 78 degrees here in Honolulu. An absolutely gorgeous day. It's been a gorgeous week as both these teams have prepared for this game. The third member of our crew, Shelly Smith, is down on the field with more on the All-American Ed Oliver.
You guys, the only thing that can possibly slow down Ed Oliver is a sea urchin. Yes, a sea urchin. He stepped on one earlier this week. He said it's the most pain he has been through. He never wants to go through that again. He goes, "Do you want to see it?" I went, "Yeah." And it was black, spiny, veiny things under the skin and the base of his right big toe. It's very painful. It stings. He didn't go through some of the pregame warm-ups, but the trainers say he's good to go. And one more thing, don't be surprised if we see the start of his Heisman campaign tonight. He may be in the backfield at some point. It's a possibility, guys.
All right, thank you, Shelly. And yeah, they do have packages, Rod, for Ed Oliver in the backfield. If he's going to win the Heisman Trophy next year, he's got to touch the football at some point, doesn't he?
Yeah. Sea urchin? A sea urchin?
The only thing that can stop him is a little spiny little sea creature,
about,
right?
It might be the best player in college football, and a sea urchin takes him down. And there's Major Applewhite, who in his first year got 7 wins.
And think about Major Applewhite. He's calling the plays offensively for this team because his offensive coordinator, Ryan Johnson, is now with Dan Mullen's staff at Florida. So for the 2nd year in a row, he's actually calling plays. And Jeff Tedford, what can you say about the great first season he has had back at his alma mater here, Fresno State, as we prepare to get underway in the Hawaii Bowl? Fresno State won the toss and they deferred. So they will kick off to Houston. Fresno State in white jerseys and red pants. Houston in their all-red home get-up. Jimmy Camacho, the all-conference kicker for Fresno State, preparing to get us underway. This Fresno State team trying to become just the second team in FBS history to lose double-digit games one year and win double-digit games the next. That's how great a turnaround it has been. Toe meets leather, and we're underway here at the Hawaii Bowl. Camacho's kick goes out of the back of the end zone, and Houston will show us what they've got offensively in their first drive of the game.
Well, it'll be Eric King, the guy we talked about a little while ago. 5'11", 5'10 and a half, 190 pounds, an incredible athlete who did some tremendous things in Texas high school football. He just threw it like crazy, ran like crazy, and showed up at Houston and started out as something other than a quarterback.
And you think about Greg Ward Jr. and the things he did with this Houston offense last year, having to replace him, and it's taken this team a little while to find their footing, but Eric King certainly gives them the dynamic presence that they've been looking for all year long with this offense. And most importantly, according to Major Applewhite, he takes care of the football. Now empty backfield, King to throw on first down. Sprints right across the field, cannot connect with Linnell Bonner, his top receiver.
We talked about King's high school experience at Manville High School. He was recruited and promised a shot at quarterback, but to get him on the field, they used him as a kick returner, used him as a wide receiver, and his time has finally come this season.
Quick pass out in the flat to Bonner, but a great job defensively that time. Making the stop was James Bailey from his linebacker's position. Bring up third down and long for Houston in their first series.
You know, the defensive aspect of Fresno State, the toughness, has been overlooked for years. They're back in that sense, a really aggressive defense.
No question about it. They finished 9th in the country in scoring defense, allowing just over 17 points a game. King back to throw again. Pressure, this time tries to dump it off to his tailback, Duke Catalan. Can't connect, and they'll bring up fourth down. 3 and out for the Cougs.
Good start for the Fresno State defense. And again, you know, you think about when Fresno State was really good. Jim Sweeney, Pat Hill, head coaches. They preached toughness. They preached defense. And Jeff Tedford has done the same sort of thing now, and they've come back, a quick 3 and out, showed you some speed, showed you some toughness.
Dane Roy, yet another Australian punter, the sophomore for the Cougars. Gets it away, and Ronnie Rivers, the freshman, going to return it for Fresno State. Corrals it at his 21, looks for a gap and can't find it. Nice play that time on special teams by the Houston Cougars. Jeremy Winchester, the cornerback, down to make the tackle. Rod, Fresno State now going to show us what they've got offensively in their first drive. And much like Houston, Marcus McMarion did not start the year as their starting quarterback. He took 3 games and then a bye week before he was inserted, and he hasn't looked back.
How crazy is that? He was at Oregon State, became a grad transfer, showed up in August, well after summer camp, well after they were into fall camp, and then after 3 or 4 weeks, won the starting job.
Jim Tedford said they had already were working on the game plan for week 1 by the time he even arrived on campus. McMarion under center, the quick pitch. Trick play right off the bat, flea flicker. McMarion's going to go deep, but into double coverage, and it's almost intercepted, but knocked away.
Well, it's a rule of the bowl season. You got some trickeration, you better run it early, because the other guy has some too.
And they ran it early.
Yeah, you got to run yours before the other guy. And you see this one hangs up a little bit. Houston completely ready for it. Terrell Williams coming over.
Kalen DeBoer, the offensive coordinator for Fresno State, said we may go trick plays early. I didn't think we'd see it in the first play of the game, but they certainly tried it early. Now the little end around here, and it's not going to go very far at all. Houston defense right on top of it as Jameer Jordan could find no running room. He stopped for a loss. Yeah, Jordan makes the play, but it was Egbule on the outside, number 8, who did not give up the edge and turned everything back inside so that you could get the tackle inside there. And there's that guy. Yeah, there's that guy, Ed Oliver. We'll be calling his name quite often tonight.
There's that man. And you see, just look at the effort there by Egbule. Took the edge, turned the play back inside.
So now it's Fresno State's turn to face a 3rd and long. Let's see what Kalen DeBoer and company have on the play sheet for this play. McMarion back to pass, overshoots his intended receiver. Keyshawn Johnson, I'm sure we'll speak more of later on in this game, but for right now, Rod, it's been a defensive struggle, as we talked about in the open. Yeah. 2 3 and outs.
Well, I think you're going to find that both these quarterbacks are going to be challenged by these respective defenses to make that intermediate throw. We talked about the fact that they both can make throws down the field, a deep throw.
Blake Cusick punts it away for Fresno State. Brandon McDowell makes the fair catch at his own 36, and the Cougars will get an opportunity once again on offense to see what they can do. Scoreless here early in the Hawaii Bowl between Houston and Fresno State.
All ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
Scoreless early on in the Hawaii Bowl, and Houston's quarterback, De'Aaron King, will get his second opportunity to put together a drive. And this dynamic sophomore from Manville, Texas, began his career and even this season not as a quarterback, but as a kick returner, and Rod, even as a receiver. He has 29 catches for 264 yards and 2 touchdowns this year alone.
Well, they had to get him on the field. He's just too athletic, too explosive. Getting him the football was something they wanted to have happen. And so now at quarterback, you've got a guy who can be a playmaker. He may be the best playmaker on the Houston squad in terms of what he can do when he has the football, not just throwing it, but running with it from the quarterback spot.
Well, as I mentioned, Houston now with their second opportunity to put something together offensively. Catalan flanking King in the backfield. He fires a bullet this time to Bonner. And Linnell Bonner, his top receiver, corrals it for a first down. First down of the game for either squad.
You'll see an awful lot of Houston trying to throw on first down and get something going. They want to dictate as opposed to having second and long. They want to really kind of control things on that first down play.
And off to Catalan, takes it right side, maybe a yard.
And that's why. It's tough to run on this Fresno State defense on first down. Jeffrey Allison is a big, good inside linebacker with 250 pounds. Moves really well. First team All Mountain West Conference.
They only give up 117 yards rushing a game. They are stout up front. Houston's turning to flea flicker and wide open downfield. It's going to be a score by Stephen Dunbar. No, he didn't get in. Down at the 1 yard line. Dunbar can't believe it. Juju Hughes made a heck of a defensive play just to close the gap.
Well, you know, the rule is supposed to be once you run a trick play, it's hard to run yours because now everybody's alert to it. But Fresno State fell asleep here on the play action. Flea flicker, look, completely by himself, Dunbar, and he's one of the best receivers. You can't leave him alone, but he didn't get into the end zone.
Ruling of a catch with the runner down short of the goal line is under further review.
Well, we'll take another look at it.
But what a hustle play by Juju Hughes to
Dunbar was wide open.
You're looking for a knee or an elbow, and where is the ball?
There's the knee. Can't tell where the ball is on that one.
Yeah, that angle's from behind, so you can't tell where the football is. So remember, you really do need clear and convincing evidence to overturn it.
There's the knee, and again, we don't know. We don't have the camera down the line, so we don't know where that football was when that knee hit. Yet to see an angle that conclusively would overturn that. What do you think, Rob?
Well, I think that's right. I mean, that's the standard. You know, you've got to have this video evidence that's absolutely clear. And from either view, you don't have clear evidence of that ball getting into the end zone, breaking the plane.
After further review, the ruling of the field stands. First down.
Jason Autry, our referee on the day from the Sun Belt crew.
We should give them credit for that up in the booth. They not only got it right, they were pretty quick with that.
They were quick with it. They got it right. The vernacular as it stands, they couldn't confirm it, but they could not overturn it. So the ruling stands, and the ball will be on the 1 yard line, first and goal for Houston.
Oliver's in the backfield. Maybe the Heisman campaign begins now.
And they hand it off to Ed Oliver, and he gets in. The All-American scores for Houston, putting the Cougars up 6-0 early.
George Helmuth came off the edge and tried to submarine him. But look at this athleticism. This is a 300-pound guy. He slips that tackle, dives into the end zone. We're talking about a special athlete. How'd you like to get in front of that guy?
He is a load, 6'3", 290 pounds. And he's wearing number 10. You might think it's unusual for a defensive lineman to wear number 10, but he doesn't have to change jerseys if he's going to carry the football like that.
Well, Shelly Smith had a little bit of an insight. She said we might see him in the backfield, and as she predicted, he shows up on the goal line and doesn't disappoint.
Caden Novikov hits the extra point, 7-0 Houston on top. And you're right, we've seen now 2 flea flickers, and Houston's All-American defensive tackle now scoring a touchdown.
Well, you know, part of the deal is you go to a bowl game and you have these 15 practices, you know, and the guys are like, come on, you know, I'm tired of practice. So you got to make it fun. You got to throw some things in there that, you know, keeps you interested. You have a flea flicker. Hey, let's take Oliver. We'll put him in the backfield. Gets everybody psyched up.
Despite having a sea urchin spine still embedded into his left foot.
You know, I noticed you on the beach the other day, and you did not go in the water. Sea urchin issue?
Very concerned about that.
You were pretty concerned.
After I heard about Ed Oliver, and even Fresno State had a player or two succumb to the sea urchin nemesis in the Pacific Ocean here.
You know, this is a great bowl and fun for players. Coaches kind of pull their hair out because you got players staying in hotels 30 seconds away from the beach.
Yeah.
And the sand in the water is a draw. And you want them to rest up a little bit.
Caden Novikov kicks it off. Jordan Mims trying to get outside, gets down about the 22-yard line. That's where Fresno State will take over on their second possession of the game. Well, it is the season for Bowl Mania. We got 3 more for you Tuesday on ESPN. Let's start at 1:30. Utah taking on West Virginia in the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. West Virginia got to bring a lot of firepower back next year, as some of their players saying they're coming back. 5:15, Duke squares off against Northern Illinois in the Quick Lane Bowl. At 9 Eastern, Kansas State battles UCLA in the Cactus Bowl. All 3 games are not only on ESPN, but also on the ESPN app. Mel Kiper Jr.'s top quarterbacks going into the 2018 NFL Draft next spring. There's Rosen and Darnold, Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield, the Heisman Trophy winner, rounding out the top 4. Quick pass out flat. Going to pick up about 2 yards that time for Damari Scott.
You saw those quarterbacks. I think Rosen is the most polished guy with great arm, great accuracy, great arm talent coming out. You think in terms of Darnold might have the higher ceiling in the long run with his athleticism.
Josh Allen's talents were clearly on display the other day in their bowl game against Central Michigan. He was unstoppable. Jordan Mims that time with a short gain. Gerard Carter with the stop. Keep an eye on number 52 for Fresno State. Their defensive coaches were extremely happy with his play.
Hey, 3rd down and 8. You know, there's a big guy in the middle of that defense, that Oliver guy.
That dude right there?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, no hand on the ground.
3rd and long for Fresno State. McMarion in the shotgun. Pressure coming, gets it off, and it's intercepted. Tipped up in the air and picked off by Juwan Hines.
First down, Houston.
A good pressure by Houston from the edge. Actually, you know, so much concern about Oliver inside. He gets handled reasonably well there, but off the edge comes the pressure, errant throw, and how about the reactions by Hines?
Intended for Mims, and Mims got a hand on it, but it was a little behind him, and that just gave the opportunity that time for Hines to pick up the interception. First of the year. So Houston now taking over after taking the lead, 7-0. First possession for Fresno State. They turn it over. Cougs get it right back at the 28-yard line. King, quick pass out to bottom.
Oh, what a play. What a play by Isaiah Johnson. You can't really do it any better than that.
Jaron Bryant on the stop as well.
Yeah, Jaron Bryant slipped right through the block of the wide receiver over there and made a tremendous open field tackle.
Loss of 3 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 13. Catalan now in motion out of the backfield. King looks his way. Rolls out. He'll try and make something happen with his feet. Pick up about 3 or 4, setting up 3rd and long. Jeffrey Allison on the stop. Fresno State coaches love his motor.
He is the 3rd quarterback to play this season. Kyle Allen, everybody recognizes him. He was a Texas A&M transfer, came over, was the #1 quarterback coming out of high school. Too many turnovers at the quarterback spot, too many picks, too many fumbles. Major Applewhite decided, got to make a change.
Yeah, Derek King is taking care of the football in his 3 starts. 3rd and long here. King back to pass again, has protection. Fires it, almost an outstanding catch that time by Keith Corbin, just couldn't quite corral.
Well, and that's the thing about King. An underrated passer. I mean, that was a heck of a throw. But a lot of people say, well, you know, dual threat guy, it's all about his feet. You see throws like that, and you go, he's something special. He's got something he can really work with.
Caden Novikov now attempting a field goal of 45 yards. He's hit 8 straight field goals on the season, so he's been extremely accurate, although they haven't used him a great deal this year. And he misses this one wide right. I put the kibosh on him. I couldn't have waited a few more seconds before.
Yeah, why'd you want to do that?
Sorry about that, Caden. An opportunity goes by the wayside. Houston still leads 7-0.
The Hawaii Bowl, brought to you by the Hawaiian Islands. The Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. What's in your wallet? And the Lexus December to Remember sales event, now through January 2nd.
Thought I saw Rod out there carving up the North Shore. Had some fun this week here on the island of Oahu.
I was too busy eating, man. Of the fresh fish around here.
Oh,
Come
no
on.
doubt. Food is outstanding. Houston with a 7-0 lead over Fresno State, so the turnover doesn't come back to bite the Bulldogs, but this is their 3rd possession. We've got a flag. They're still looking for their first down of the game.
Now, you live back where it's really, really cold and snowy.
Where everything's encased in ice.
Yeah. Was it hard for you to get into the holiday spirit with the sun and the beach and everything?
Ball start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Aaron Mitchell, team captain, all Mountain West Conference, guilty of the infraction. We moved back 5 yards. It was not difficult at all. That'd be difficult for me to go back. That might be the difficult part. So Marcus McMurray at the controls here, trying to get something going for the Bulldogs. They appear to be moving backwards more than moving forward. 1st and 15. Ronnie Rivers, the freshman, corrals it in the flat. He's going to get dropped for another loss.
How about the speed? And Matthew Adams, inside linebacker, flying over. You know, there's this sense that Fresno State is conceding the middle of the field because of Oliver, and that they're trying to get to the perimeter with things, with their runs, with their passes, because Oliver is so disruptive up front. Does he look like a 300-pounder?
He does.
290?
He certainly doesn't move like he's 290 pounds. He looks more like a fullback in terms of the way he runs. 2nd down and long. Marion connects with his tight end, but a big hit that time. Put on by Alex Myers. Kyle Rittering on the reception got popped.
It's a good tackle, too. This is a guy who comes in, head up, eyes open, and wraps up. Just watch the end. Watch the tackle. Wrap up. See the arms come around? Get more of that instead of guys flying around like missiles using their shoulder or their helmet.
That's a cornerback, too, not a safety. First-year starter. Both these corners for the Cougars' first-year starters. Keep an eye on number 10 in the middle for Houston. 3rd and long. McMurray back to pass flushed. Gets it away, but can't connect.
You saw the pressure from Houston. You saw Oliver bringing it as he ran a little twist to the outside. How do you run with sea urchin tentacles still in your foot? I mean, he's already picked up a touchdown from a fullback spot, and he's running on that bad foot the sea urchin got him. Doesn't care, does he?
So another 3-and-out series for Fresno State. This one will go out of bounds at the 40-yard line, and that's where Houston will take over. 7-0. Cougars on top midway through the first quarter in Hawaii. Houston Cougars enjoying their Hawaii Bowl experience so far, up 7-0 over Fresno State. The defense has clearly been dominant as the Bulldogs of Fresno State have yet to record a first down. It's a good look at Kyle Allen. Started the year as Houston's starting quarterback, then gave way to Kyle Postma, who has now given way to De'Aaron King.
Yeah, after 2 years of basically starting at Texas A&M, transferred over here, he might be the biggest free agent this offseason. Yeah, amateur football, free agency. He could be a grad transfer.
Well, it only took us 7.5 minutes for you to work something like that into the conversation. Bulbacar in the backfield now. King sprints out. Can't connect with his receiver, Courtney Lark.
No, but you feel for a guy like Allen, who left Texas A&M to come to Houston, was expected to be the starter, gets beaten out by King after he has trouble hanging on to the football this year.
You just said it. He's had 2 opportunities to win starting jobs, and he's yet to do that.
But the nature of the quarterback position is that quarterbacks tend to move to where they can play.
Big fella, Bulbacar with the carry, and he gets stuffed. After a gain of 3 yards, Jeffrey Allison and James Bailey combine on the stop.
So Kyle Allen has not said anything yet about what the future holds for him. He could be back at Houston next year.
He did what he needed to do, though, and that's graduate.
Yep.
Now that opens up the opportunity for him next year.
Exactly right.
Or he may just decide to stay. 3rd down and 7 for Houston. King looking right side. Incomplete. Juggling attempt that time, but Tank Kelly, who the coaches for Fresno State describe as their most aggressive cornerback, was right there to knock it away from Courtney Lark.
I love it. That's an aggressive play. You know, he saw the receiver coming back to the football. Kelly still came back with him step for step. Look at him come on back and get that ball out. Doesn't give up just because the ball's been thrown and chance to catch it. Fights and knocks it out of there.
Ronnie Rivers back to receive this punt. Dane Roy, the Aussie. Roy puts a toe to it. Rivers calls for a fair catch. He'll make it at his 18, and that's where the Bulldogs will take over. .6:36 left to go in this first quarter from Aloha Stadium. If you haven't yet, be sure to see Star Wars The Last Jedi. There's BB-8. Thanks, BB. Now playing in theaters and IMAX everywhere. Is it appropriate to call him BB? That's like it's his first name.
You got to go BB-8. You know.
You're right.
And
can't shorten it.
I know I'm seeing it in a couple of days. Can't wait to do that. It's not a Christmas movie, though.
No, but that's a good activity when you live in the Northeast to go to a movie theater. I wasn't thinking about that here in Hawaii, but I certainly am now. Marcus McMarion is thinking about trying to put together a drive. Bulldogs have yet to get anything going, and Josh Hokett still can't find any running room.
We've just seen this defense, this Houston defense, much like the Fresno State defense, really be aggressive. And we talked about before, running inside is a problem against that front.
Hokett in the Wildcat, keeps it, weaves his way down for a gain of about 8 yards. It'll set up 3rd and short.
Yeah, Hokett's a former walk-on, a guy who, is just a tough, hard-nosed guy, the kind of Fresno State player that you remember from back in the day for, Pat Hill and his team. Will play anyone, anywhere, anytime. Just a tough, hard-nosed guy. Takes nothing. One of those Valley guys who, grew up in high school playing in hot weather and used to it, loves it.
On 3rd down, this one's going to be close. Hokett kept it that time on the handoff on the left side. This one's going to be close. May not have picked it up. Matthew Adams and Khalil Williams there, the all-conference safety. Combining on the stop. The officials are going to measure this one. We talked at the opening about how these two teams have played so well defensively, and people watching may not have been taking us seriously because they might have been thinking Houston and Fresno State, these two teams with all the great quarterbacks they've had over the years, they fill it up. But look at what Houston's done stopping the run recently.
Yeah.
You think they play teams like Navy, by the way.
Yeah. you think about what they have with Oliver, and you don't think so much about Carter coming back from injury and what he does up front. But that front is difficult to deal with, particularly inside. You almost exclusively have to try to get to the edge on them.
Short on the third down attempt. It'll bring up 4th and long. This is no place right here for Jeff Tedford to take some risks early on, down 7-0, and Blake Cusick will come in and punt it away. There's a good look at Coach Tedford. Fresno State still unable to pick up a first down. As this defensive battle continues here, we still have over 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Brandon McDowell back to receive this great punt. Great punt by Cusick. It'll go out of bounds as the official marks it off right at the 15-yard line, and that's where Houston will take over. The ESPN app is a fan's best friend, and we certainly found this out while we were doing a lot of really hard work this week. We were able to watch all of the bowl games on the construction site where we were working.
Right,
last few days.
A lot of sand, a lot of water, a lot of sun, and college football bowl games.
Every ESPN and ABC football game you can see on the ESPN app. You can take it everywhere you go. 58-yard punt, that time by Blake Cusick, and that puts Houston in position where they've got a long field ahead of them. Catalan takes the handoff. Maybe give him a yard. Boy, you cannot run. Neither one of these teams can find any room to run.
Nah, they're working hard inside, and you think about that quickness up front. Guys like Haynes, 93, and good effort on the edge coming in to really kind of clog things up. That's also a tough front in there. Forster, 97.
Jalen Atkins, great athlete. King decides to keep it himself. Gets into the second level before he's hit hard by Jeffrey Allison.
Yeah, they've done a nice job of really kind of bottling King up and forcing him to think in terms of, okay, I got to convert on third down from the pocket. He hasn't really hurt them on the edge yet.
3rd and 5 for Houston. They try and go a little tempo, slow it down. Catalan did a nice job picking up the blitz. And Linnell Bonner makes the catch for a first down.
Third down pressure. They pick it up. Good throw on the slant. A lot of man coverage on the back end. Houston's going to have to take some shots against that.
You think they're setting this up with these quick throws? A lot of these slants now to Dunbar and Bonner that we've seen.
Well, yeah, they had to get the ball out, but I think eventually they got to take a shot.
On the option, Catalan, he's going to get dropped.
Yeah, that's not really going to work. This is a really fast Fresno State defense. Getting the ball to the perimeter is not easy against them.
Look at George Helmuth, starting linebacker, described as a lunch pail guy.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to really try and work some of these matchups on the outside and take some shots against the single coverage.
2nd down and 10 now for King. Hands it off to Catalan, and again.
Yeah, nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. Stopped in the backfield. It's been KK there for the stop.
Second team Mountain West Conference player. Had 5 sacks coming in, 9 tackles for losses. And he's quick, 245 pounds. Gives him a little size on the edge, but he's got the quickness to get in and make plays. It's a challenge for him right now.
These two teams have played behind the chains for a good bit of this first quarter. Houston once again in that position, 3rd and 12. King now tries a little slip screen, gets it complete to Bonner, but nowhere near the first down marker.
Fresno State is just on top of them, really on top of them, and that speed allows them to make plays. That screen goes away. Atkins putting pressure on King right away, and then you have a couple guys right there just wrapping this thing up. It's like they're playing with 13, 14 guys out there.
Ronnie Rivers back to receive the punt once again for Fresno State. Roy the Aussie will let it go, and Rivers comes up, calls for the fair catch, makes it at his own 32. It's a Fresno State team. We mentioned at the top of the show, Rodney, how they lost. They'll become just the second team in FBS history, if they win this game, to lose double-digit games last year and then win double-digit games the following year. That's a remarkable turnaround.
Yeah, and Jeff Tedford talked about the goal of getting 10 wins, what that means to the seniors here and guys who've been through a really tough time the last 3 years. To go from 1 to 10 would be huge for them.
It's all about mindset. One of the things we heard from him, and I think I've heard this from a lot of coaches when they take over, he polled his entire team. What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you want to see change? Just to get the
schedule, nutrition,
everything,
facilities, everything.
What can we do to mix things up and change things? And they've obviously changed a lot, and the attitude is there, and it's resulted in a fantastic season. Final 2 minutes of the first quarter. Fresno State trying to get something going. McMarion has time, now flush. Has a wide open receiver. And Jameer Jordan, the speedster, makes the catch and picks up their first down in the game.
And that's what McMarion can do. He threatens you on the edge with his feet and keeps his eyes downfield looking to make a play. That's a 21-yard pass and catch. Watch him. He gets to the edge. Now he's a threat, but he keeps his eyes down the field.
Now Fresno State going a little tempo here. The quick pass out, flat, caught. And Damari Scott levered lowered the shoulder and picked up an extra yard or two.
Look,
Jeremy Winchester felt the full brunt of that hit.
Well, Scott's a big receiver. He goes at 210, 215, 6'1", and he lowered the shoulder there.
Mims dances his way to a nice gain, picks up about 3 or 4. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Looks like Kalen DeBoer, the offensive coordinator for Fresno State, trying to speed things up a little bit, trying to get something going.
Yeah, a little life, a little buzz, a little action out of his team with tempo.
Passing on 3rd and short, complete out to Scott, who makes a move and gets inside the 30.
A little rhythm, and I think what you see from the booth, if you're the Fresno State coaches, is that Scott is playing with an edge. And so he's got that energy, so get him the ball. I think that's what you saw that last play, is that he's a guy who's running with some authority right now.
Mims now flanking McMarion in the backfield. McMarion has time. Out to his tailback, McMims, who picks up the 1st down. Jordan Mims with the 1st down catch. And these coaches all week long talked about having to get outside because of the presence of Oliver and that defensive front for Houston, and they're doing it now with a lot of quick passes and utilizing their backs.
Well, everything that's worked has been on the perimeter, and this time you get Mims coming out of the backfield. But that's the whole approach.
And you see McMarion there thought they might have had a good matchup. He was upset that that play was whistled dead before it ever got started.
Defense, number 10. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
He will pick up 5 yards, though.
How often do you have a player that changes your whole game plan? And that's what Oliver has done to Fresno State. I mean, they're looking at things going, you know what, we can't do anything inside here. We've got to adjust and get to the edge. We've got to throw quick.
Trick play here. Hogan couldn't connect with his receiver. He has 2 completions on the year. Both of them have been touchdowns. So he's not afraid to throw it up there in a trick play situation, but couldn't connect with Keyshawn Johnson in the end zone. Bring up 2nd down and 5. Fresno State continues to rotate backs in. DeJounte O'Neal now getting his first action.
He's only 5'7", 170, more of a receiver than a guy who would run. I think if you're Houston, you're thinking not any kind of inside run with him.
McMarion now to the end zone, looking for Johnson. He can't connect. Johnson wants a flag. Isaiah Johnson, both Johnsons. Keyshawn Johnson wanted the flag. Isaiah Johnson says no.
Oh, look, they were both pushing off. You know, Keyshawn Johnson extended his hand. That's mutual combat. There's no flag, and that's a good decision by the official not to throw him.
You see Keyshawn's numbers. offensive coordinator Kalen DeBoer thinks he might have a future at the next level if he keeps developing the way he has. Josh Hogan now the bigger bag for Fresno State, flanking McMarion, 3rd and 5. McMarion was looking for his receiver, Jameer Jordan, who fell down. There might have been a reason why he fell down.
Sea urchin.
Or a flag. One or the other. Isaiah Johnson in coverage for Houston.
Pass interference, defense, number 14. The foul occurred in the end zone. The penalty is enforced to put the ball at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Well, they went after Johnson on the previous play and couldn't connect, and now they get a flag.
There's one on time down for the live ball foul.
First quarter just coming to a conclusion, but we'll have one on time down here since.
Yeah, all the players thought it was the end of the quarter, and the officials are telling them, no, we got untimed down we need to do here, so the players have to come back to the goal line. You saw that shot of Jeff Tedford, what he did, 11 years at California. Took over a team that had 1 loss the season before he got there. And you tend to forget that he has coached some of the great quarterbacks in the game. Trent Dilfer at Fresno State, Aaron Rodgers at Cal.
Through the years and all the places he's been. Great job by Houston to string it out that time. Mims tried to find the corner and couldn't get there to bring up 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, look who's on the sideline as part of that play. Ed Oliver.
Well, number 10.
All 290 pounds of him.
So the first quarter has come to an end. Houston struck first. They lead 7-0. Fresno State, though, knocking on the doorstep. Houston and Fresno State here at Aloha Stadium, all vying for that trophy right there, the Hawaii Bowl trophy. And right now, Houston with a little bit of a leg up 7-0, thanks to Ed Oliver scoring his first career touchdown on a 1st and goal situation. Now we have a 2nd and goal situation for Fresno State as Jeff Tedford and company look to game plan something that can get the ball in the end zone and away from this man right here, big old number 10, Ed Oliver.
Yeah, he's a force inside, and they were planning to stay away from him. Aaron Mitchell, the center, was kind of looking forward to that matchup. They go number 77. He'll
made 37 career starts in a row. He's an all-conference player. He's proud.
Played against some really good players.
Double tights now. Hokett dot in the eye. McMarion fakes it to Hokett, looking for his tight end, rolling right. Can't find him. He's going to try and score himself. And they're going to rule him out of bounds at the 1-yard line. They ruled that he stepped out of bounds before diving for the pylon. And this one will obviously be looked at. He will look at it.
Yeah, I don't think he really gained anything at all with this when you think about where he stepped out. They were on the 2. Now watch for the foot out of bounds.
Right there.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Before he hit the pylon.
It's a really good call.
Went play action. The receivers were covered. McMarion tried to get it himself. Couldn't get there. Hokett again, the backfield. 3rd and goal from the 1. Hokett sidesteps the initial defender and can't get in.
You're surprised? What did we say? The one place you cannot run.
I figured maybe that's the surprise. Then you try and run there because everyone thinks you're not going to try it.
Number 10 doesn't take a play off. So you're not going to surprise him and fool him. So inside there, where number 10 is and you don't do it.
4th and goal, and Fresno State's going to go for it, and they score.
No. They got it in.
Marcus McMarion keeps it on 4th and goal. And I guess the only way to somehow figure out a way to penetrate that interior defensive line is to do it quickly.
Yeah, they changed the tempo, went really, really fast. Didn't give him a chance to really get set, and McMarion got a chance to get it in there. Good for him. Again, you're talking about a guy who transferred from Oregon State, transferred home to the Fresno area.
Grew up in the San Joaquin Valley, and Jimmy Camacho, a first look at the all-conference kicker for Fresno State, nails the extra point early in the 2nd quarter. We are tied 7 apiece, and here's how we got there. Marcus McMaryion just burrows his way somehow, some way into the end zone. Despite all the Cougars' best efforts, we're all knotted up at 7.
My left throat just went viral. Got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
Tied at 7 here at the Hawaii Bowl after a couple of one-yard plunges, one by a quarterback and one by an All-American defensive tackle on the left. That's Ed Oliver, scored his first career touchdown early in this game. That's his brother over on the right, offensive guard Marcus Oliver.
A little royalty in that DNA, huh?
I would say a couple of big fellas, huh? Marcus Sr. tips the scales at 300 pounds, so a little bit bigger than his younger brother Ed.
Well, that's one of the reasons Ed wound up at Houston. He wanted to play with his brother.
Yeah. John Leday back to receive the kick for Houston. He's going to let this sail into the end zone. One of the things that they talk about with Marcus Oliver, or with Ed Oliver rather, we'll get that in a second. First, I want to tell you about the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. How many times, and you being a West Coast guy, have you seen these two teams play in the Rose Bowl? In classic Rose Bowls. And now the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic from AT&T Stadium gets the pleasure of having these two teams play in their bowl.
How about the classic uniforms?
Oh, you know, everything about it.
I hope they both wear their old school, perfect, pristine uniforms.
Right, no third uniforms.
Don't give me any steel
Those two
gray.
right there.
Yeah, just wear what you got.
8:30 Eastern Friday on ESPN, on the Watch ESPN app. Colby Carr in the backfield with King. King rolls out, finds Carr, gains about 4 yards on the reception before George Helmuth makes the stop.
I don't think you're in the holiday spirit.
Oh, I'm in the holiday spirit. It's 75 degrees out. I mean, I couldn't be any more spirited than I am right now.
I asked you earlier about, what Christmas movie you're going to watch or whatever when you fly back. You're like, I don't watch Christmas movies. Come on. Everybody watches Christmas movies.
All right, for you, I'll watch a Christmas movie on one of my many flights back. King gets it off, and he has a receiver downfield. Dunbar can't make the catch. He makes it, but he's out of bounds. That was an outstanding effort that time by the senior from Metairie, Louisiana.
Yeah, but clearly out of bounds. Dunbar is 6'3", goes up, and King throws a nice ball here despite the pressure.
Yeah, James Bailey was right in his face.
And look at this effort. Almost. Completely out of bounds here.
Tank Kelly on the coverage.
So
second down and 6.
If you were to watch Die Hard, would you count that as a Christmas movie?
Somewhat. Yeah, yeah, it is.
You would?
Yeah. Just like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a holiday movie. It's a holiday movie. Thanksgiving / Christmas.
538.com says only 19% of the country says it's a holiday movie. I say no. You can't release a movie in July and call it a Christmas movie.
We'll be back with more after this from the Hawaii Bowl.
The Hawaii Bowl, brought to you by Sheridan Resorts in Hawaii. Explore more at SheridanHawaii.com. And Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
Houston Cougars visiting the Kapiolani Medical Center for Women and Children earlier this week. One of the many different field trips, if you will, that these teams take while they're here in town in Honolulu. And Tank Kelly, Fresno State cornerback, was shaken up on that last play defending on Stephen Dunbar. Looked like he landed awkwardly on his left wrist. Taken to the locker room, so that is a tough break for this Fresno State defense that has really come to play tonight. Sherman Coleman will now take over in that cornerback spot. Eric King cannot hook up with his tight end, Alex Leslie, and that's going to bring up 4th down. Well, let's take another look at that play that Kelly was injured on.
Yeah, and Kelly's been having a really good ball game. You'll see him come down on that wrist. And he got up holding that left wrist.
All of his weight on it.
Yeah.
That defense bows up, though, and they'll get the ball back, presumably to their offense. As Dane Roy puts his foot into it. Ronnie Rivers makes the fair catch at his own 30-yard line. A lot of punts in this game, but the last time Fresno State had the football, 11 plays, 68 yards, and just over 2.5 minutes off the clock, and they finally got something going. And a big part of Fresno State's success this year, Rod, has been their offensive line. All 5 members of this offensive line, they've been together all year. No injuries. And Caden DeBoer, their offensive coordinator, said, in my whole entire career, I've never had an offensive line go entire year without one single game missed due to injury.
Yeah, you know, they've been healthy. And Aaron Mitchell in the middle, you really, really like him. He's played an awful lot. You see only the 9 sacks given up this season. He was a second team All Mountain West offensive lineman. Got a big assignment today with Oliver.
McMarion outside. Hits his receiver on the comeback route, Darian Grimm, who they call the Grim Reaper down in Stockton, California, where he's from. Actually, I don't know if they call him that, but they should.
You know, McMarion had been at Oregon State, as we mentioned, and for 3 straight years, he was beaten out of the starting job, which he thought he had won.
Rivers looks for room and can't find much. Maybe picks up a yard, which will get him the first down, and the officials say he did.
And after the last disappointing loss for McMarion, he decided to leave. And his high school football coach reached out to Jeff Tefford and said, hey, I got a guy who's a pretty good quarterback, wants to come home. You got room for him?
Fumble on the snap, but the play was whistled dead. We'll see what Jason Autry has to say, our referee for the game, part of the Sun Belt crew.
Ball start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, first down.
You can't miss Micah St. Andrew. 6'3", 343-pound junior from Rialto, California. One of the things about McMarion, too, was he had some late offers from some big-time programs.
Yeah, he was looking at Iowa.
Nebraska, I think, was another one that might have come in and said something.
And Texas, showed up, yeah.
He said, I'm going to stay home. Play for Jeff Tedford. 1st and 15 now for the Bulldogs. McMarion has a receiver, completes it to Keyshawn Johnson. Those two finally hook up, and it leads to a first down into Houston territory.
It's about time. And you're talking about a guy who is really central to their offense, and they haven't really targeted him until now.
Now and starting to go again like we saw in that last drive, Rod. Tempo, picking things up a little bit, getting into a rhythm. Fake to Rivers, now back outside. And Amari Scott pick up about 5 yards before Terrell Williams knocks him out of bounds.
So that's just the run-pass option where the quarterback is reading whether he wants to throw that screen pass or whether he wants to give it to his running back. And it works well with the tempo.
McMarion, quick pass to Johnson again, and he'll pick up the first down.
Yeah, I like what they're doing offensively. When you find a guy who's making plays, go back to him. They did that with Keyshawn. They did that with Scott earlier. You know, just get the ball to your guys who can make plays.
A couple of tights in the game. McMarion under center. Johnson in motion. Could be a double pass. Johnson looking to throw. Thinks better of it. And he'll be knocked for a big loss, but we do have a flag on the play. This could be a face mask. Jawan Hines with the stop. Boy, you think Tedford was a little nervous there with Johnson looking like he was going to throw and then deciding not to, and then deciding he might again?
Absolutely. You want to trick plays in this game, right?
Yeah.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 12, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, the All-American Athletic Conference linebacker, DeJuan Hines, unfortunate with the face mask grab, and that'll lead to a big play when you think about the yardage gain now instead of lost on this play. Right there, don't throw it.
And that penalty, that wipes out an 11-yard loss.
Yeah, they called Hines on the penalty. It looked like Alex Myers, the corner, might have been the one that grabbed the face mask, but you're right. The big loss, now it turns into a gain. 1st and 10 now from the 17-yard line. Rivers waits patiently for his blockers to open up a little bit of a hole, and he gets about 3.5.
You know, if you're Fresno State, I still like the matchup down here because Johnson outside. You know you're going to get single coverage. As long as you're not getting any safety help over there, and it doesn't look like they're going to give it to him, that's a pretty good place to go. He's 6'2", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
He can get up.
Does McMarion have time? That's the thing, to go downfield.
You're absolutely right.
There's an eye on Johnson. Goes out to his back. Rivers makes one man miss. Can't make another, but he does get some positive yardage. It'll bring up 3rd and short.
Feels like Fresno State has kind of settled into a rhythm offensively since the first opening drive, second drive.
And since they started going tempo too, they're really picking up the pace. Rivers tries inside, and the going is tough. Gets it down to the 10-yard line before Hines is there to make the stop along with Leroy Godfrey. And this is going to bring up a 4th down. They went for it earlier in the game on 4th and goal. And in this particular case, it looks like they're going to bring in Camacho for a field goal.
Yeah, Tedford's not happy. I mean, he realizes that was a wasted opportunity at a 3rd and short. Couldn't convert on it. And I still think that the play was, Johnson in single coverage on the outside. I feel like you have to take a chance with that.
Camacho is true from 28 yards. His 22nd field goal made on the season. And Fresno State has taken a 10-7 lead. 9:45 left to go in the first half from Honolulu. Fresno State has taken a 10-7 lead in the Hawaii Bowl thanks to the power in the right leg of that young man right there, Jimmy Camacho. Fresno State's senior kicker with more from this young man. Let's send it down to the field, Shelly Smith. Shelly?
Yeah, you guys, Jimmy Camacho is an amazing story. In January 2015, he was diagnosed with something they call seminoma, which is a germ cell tumor. They didn't really figure it out until June, and then they started aggressive treatment, but it really cost him his stamina and his ability to gain weight, to gain muscle, but he got it back, and he made it back so far that he hit a 50-yarder this spring. I talked to him before the game. I said, keep being an inspiration. He goes, I'm just going to be myself, and he has.
Thanks, Shelly. Himself as being an all-Mountain West Conference kicker, second teamer, and he has 22 field goals now on the season. He's a big reason why this team that plays very good defense and oftentimes is in close games, Rod, has won 9 games.
Absolutely. Right now, this Fresno State defense is controlling this game. And if you're a Houston fan, I think what you want to see is King get an opportunity to run a little bit, to get him free. There have been no quarterback design runs. They haven't gotten him to the edge much today.
Tries up the middle, maybe a gain of a yard. It's a Houston offense that had 48 yards on the flea flicker, the trick play early in the game in the first quarter. Since then, Rod, 34 yards on the 21 plays since.
Nothing. I really think, King is the key.
Right now, it's 2nd down and 9, so just 1 yard on that first down play. King pumps, flushed out of the pocket, throws downfield, and cannot connect with Derek McLemore, or Stephen Dunbar, rather, the intended receiver.
See, you've got to do more, I think, other than just let him decide on his own when he needs to get out of that pocket. Go ahead and move it. Give him a chance to get to the edge, away from the pressure, and to see downfield and decide whether to run or throw. Right now, he's in the pocket too long, and for most young quarterbacks, throwing from the pocket is the hardest thing to do and the last thing they really get really good at doing.
3rd and 9 deep in their own territory. King back to pass, fires a strike to Dunbar and connects. That's a first down right there. Seen a lot of those quick slants, quick patterns by these receivers, and maybe this will help get King going.
Yep, quick game. 1, 2, 3, get it out.
King again, this time going downfield to Dunbar. He's got his man. Dunbar makes a move to the 20 and gets down to the 17.
Chris, we talked about this at the very beginning of the show. The deep ball. King has really good touch with it. He gives his guy a chance to make a play. Look at the way he puts this one up there. Comes back, and he gives Dunbar an opportunity. He puts it up, he catches that up around the face mask. Well done.
Sherman Coleman, the cornerback who took over for Tank Kelly was beaten on that play, and Jeffrey Allison just beat the ball carrier on that play. Jeffrey Allison filled the hole, the middle linebacker who Rolando Steinauer, the defensive coordinator at Fresno State, says this kid's fun to watch.
He grew up in the Miami area. Wasn't recruited by the local schools, recruited by Fresno State, decided he needed to get away.
Houston right now wishes he'd have stayed. Another trickeration this time. The end around, and John Leday looking for a little bit of room. Only found a little bit of room before Allison again tracked him down. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 7. Allison is just a big dude, 6 feet, 250 pounds. Leading tackler, 113 tackles on the year. A couple of sacks, a couple of fumbles, recovered, a couple of calls. He's just all over the field. King now on 3rd down. Miscommunication with his receiver.
Yep. He was looking for the corner. His receiver ran a dig, ran an inside route.
Ian Dunbar, who just hooked up for the big gain, couldn't work it out in the end zone. So an opportunity now for Caden Novikov to tie this game up. It'll be a 31-yard attempt. Novikov, who missed one in the first quarter, is true on this attempt. 31 yards, and Houston knots up the game at 10 apiece. We talked about Fresno defensively this year, and this has been a complete turnaround for a team that now really relies on their defense in many cases to keep in the game. I mean, look at this against an option team in New Mexico, 109 yards rushing. Rashad Penny, 69 yards.
Hey, he ran for 2,200 yards and almost nothing against Fresno State.
This is a Cowboys team without Josh Allen, but still, when you do this to teams week in and week out.
Well, you see the difference in what this defense has done. They were horrible last year against the run. Great this year. Couldn't get a sack last year. 32 of them this season. This is a defense with a lot more speed, and they're just a lot tougher. I know I keep coming back to that, but it reminds me of that Pat Hale style. Back in the day, we used to see that toughness in Fresno State.
Novikov to Damari Scott, who takes it out of the end zone. Scott tries to spin out of a tackle, cannot, and he'll be dumped at his own 20. Well, I know we're all looking forward to this on Christmas Day. The annual NBA tradition continues for the best gifts anybody could ask for. Noon Eastern, Sixers and Knicks on ESPN. Then at 3 Eastern, the NBA Finals rematch, Cavs and Warriors on ABC. Wizards and Celtics at 5:30. And the Rockets take on the Thunder in Oklahoma City. All 4 games are also on that ESPN app, as always.
I'm kind of dialed in on the Warriors, and then I want to see that Houston game. Houston is obsessed with the Warriors, they say. Huh.
The way Houston's playing, the Warriors may need to obsess about them a little bit.
All good. 2 best records, I believe.
No question. Hokett tries to carry it around the left side, and he'll get nothing and like it. Leroy Godfrey there with his teammates on the stop. Number 10, of course, involved.
You've had a chance now to see Oliver in person for the first time. What do you think?
He's an impressive athlete. I'll tell you that much. We saw him score his first touchdown in his career in the first quarter in the backfield.
And look, for a defensive guy to get into the Heisman discussion next year or whatever, you got to score a little bit.
2nd down and 10. Marion looking to pass. Pump fakes, finds his receiver underneath. Big tackle that time on Jared Rice. Alex Myers making the stop.
Second good tackle by Myers today. We've seen him keep his head up and wrap up. Good form tackle here. Look at that. Wrapping up. That is so good. That's how you make good tackles. You don't hurt yourself. You don't hurt anybody else.
Myers, the junior from Houston.
You know, we were talking about the Fresno State offense. McMarion started 3 of 7. He's 10 of 11 since then.
Double tights the end around, trying to pick up the first down, and it's going to be close, but I think Damari Scott's going to pick it up. He does.
Marcus McMaryion is starting to feel it, though. He's warming up. Confidence coming back.
Fake to Hogan. McMaryion looking for his receiver. Has his tight end. He makes an outstanding catch. Jared Rice made a nice catch. The defender, Terrell Williams, was right there to tip it. Just barely couldn't get his fingers on it.
That's 11 of his last 12. Again, confidence, getting into a rhythm. Watch the touch on this one. He's got great protection. Knows exactly where he needs to put it. Good touch on it.
Just over the outstretched fingers of Terrell Williams. And Rice getting involved. McMaryion again back to pass with confidence. Goes deep downfield. Pass incomplete for Jameer Jordan. Defended nicely by Jeremy Winchester.
I thought McMaryion held it a little bit too long. He should have let it go a little sooner. Ball's underthrown. Good effort, but Jordan couldn't come up with it. I think he probably lost, with shadow there with the sun there.
Right. Right in this late afternoon sun here. I know it's evening out in many parts of the mainland, but here it's still late afternoon, and that sun is coming in into the stadium there. Many parts providing some shadows. Second down and 10 for Fresno State. Jonte O'Neal in the backfield with McMaryion. Quick pass. Complete to Keyshawn Johnson. He'll pick up about 5.
Yeah, see, he looks like a different quarterback now than the one who started the game. I mean, he's throwing that ball. He's zipping it. He's throwing with touch. He's stepping into things. He just has that look now about it. Look at those eyes. I mean, he's completely in. You can see the confidence in his face right now.
Big third down for this Houston defense, wanting to get off the field as we get down to 4.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Of note, Ed Oliver not on the field. As I mentioned, it's a big third down, not involved in the play. McMaryion to pass. Zips that one incomplete.
He had him.
Yeah, had Johnson, just couldn't hang on. Garrett Davis on the coverage for the Cougs.
And this is another good throw. This is a dart right where he needs it. That's got to be a catch. And Johnson had 69 catches during the regular season.
Long field goal. We just talked about Jimmy Camacho. A 57-yard attempt. He was hitting 55-yarders in warm-ups. Wind swirling here at Aloha Stadium. He puts his foot into it. He's got the distance, but pulls it wide left. Gave it a run. Sort of in that tweener territory for Fresno State. The end result, we remain tied. 10 apiece. Houston and Fresno State. 4 minutes left to go in the first half from Honolulu. All knotted up from Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. Look how gorgeous that is. Diamond Head in the distance. Waikiki Beach. A lot of aloha going on there.
Isn't that where we were sitting? I think that's where we were.
Again, I don't see a construction site there, all the work we've been doing.
I was glad that you used the sunscreen, though.
No question about it. The winter white from Connecticut. I was practically clear when I first arrived here. I lacked so much pigmentation. Houston trying the middle of that defensive front for Fresno State. So reasonable amount of success there from Duke Catalan. Will pick up about 4 yards.
Yeah, and going tempo here.
They've got to try something, don't they? They really have not had much success other than the trick play early on in the first quarter.
I still think King needs to have the ball in his hands on some quarterback design runs or getting him to the edge.
King now in the pocket, gets hit as he throws, and they're going to rule that an incomplete pass.
Yeah, that thing just collapsed.
Robert Stanley, one of the quiet leaders described by this coaching staff on this Fresno State defense.
6'3", 245 off the edge, was a linebacker last season, now kind of a stand-up defensive end, quick, Gets around the corner.
But now yet another third down for this Houston offense. Can De'Aaron King convert, keep this drive going as we get in the latter stages here of the second quarter. King now, quick pass. Dunbar makes the catch. Inside of Fresno State territory, keeps his feet down to the 36.
He's getting a lot of room, and when they get that room with off coverage, he runs that slant. And it's just the quick game. You've got King at quarterback who reads it. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of it on the slant. You see that that's the new corner over there. Coleman playing off a good distance. And with all that space, Dunbar can eat that up. And look how far he's backing off. He's at 8 yards off of him right now.
Duke Catalan swaps the Kings right in the backfield. Catalan keeps it, finds a little bit of a crease, keeps his feet churning. He'll pick up about 5 or 6 yards on first down. Clock winding inside of 3 minutes now in the first half. Fresno State doing a great job against the run again today. That's what they do. 117 yards a game, just 25 today, but Catalan got a little bit there. Now, the reverse. Bonner wanted to pass it, decided the better part of valor was to keep it. He'll take a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, good job down the field by Mike Bell, the safety, who did not bite on the fake.
We are seeing some tricks, boy.
Yeah,
but many of them are not working out so well for either team.
Bell on the back end is like, hey, we fell for that thing early. Not again. He stays home. And Bonner has nowhere to go with that football. Couldn't throw it down the field.
So now we have a 3rd and 7 for the Cougars trying to keep this drive alive. King. Out in the flat, gets it complete to Courtney Lark before Jerron Bryant knocks him out of bounds. It'll be short of the first down.
It gives you a chance on 4th down. I think you're in no man's territory here where you really don't want to punt it. And if you don't have confidence that your field goal kicker can make this thing, this is a good 4th down to go. If you're Major Applewhite, you know what? We'll try and pick this one up.
Both teams have their full complement of 3 timeouts here in the first half. Clock winding down, 1.25 minutes left to go. And you could see that Major Applewhite, you could see him walking down on the sideline, that maybe he wasn't very happy about what they had
it's a 30-second timeout.
Dialed up, so he calls Houston's first timeout. Coming up at the half, the Mercedes-Benz halftime report. Join Adnan, Joey, and Jesse. They're going to be in the studio. Take a look at highlights from the Birmingham Bowl, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. And they'll also have a Capital One Bowl Mania check-in as the competition between Galloway and Palmer heats up.
Well, I think those guys ought to weigh in on Die Hard as a Christmas movie. Yay or nay?
Well, you know Adnan, who has his cinephile.
Yeah, he's the perfect one to weigh in on.
Exactly.
And if they
he would be the expert.
If they think it's a Christmas movie, they have to explain this. They have to explain why it was released as a summer blockbuster in July of 1988.
I know why.
Why?
Because you get the summer viewing people, and then you get the double viewing on the back end of that with the holiday viewing. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that's creative.
It is.
That's creative.
I thought of it on the fly. You get the summer viewing, and then when everybody goes to the movies at the holidays, you say, hey, you know what? We're going to re-release it as a holiday movie.
Because your entire life, you've gone, hey, you know what I want to do in the summer? I want to watch a Christmas movie. Please.
You tried. Houston's got a 4th down and 3 here. We've got a whistle. Now a timeout by Fresno State. So first Major Applewhite calls a timeout.
Fresno State. First charge timeout of the half. It's a 30-second timeout.
Now Jeff Tedford says, I've seen how Houston's going to line up for this really important 4th down. I'm going to go ahead and call a timeout and work on things on my own. Let's take a look at the Bowl Challenge Cup presented by Progressive. Early on, let's see who's taking the early lead. Conference USA, 3 wins. They've got 1 bowl remaining. There's the Sun Belt. Hashtag Fun Belt.
Well, this is really going to heat up, though. You look down near the bottom in the right column, you see the ACC has 10 remaining. Yep. SEC with 9. This thing is still wide open.
Oh, we got a lot of football to be played. A lot of football to be played this next week.
A lot of couch sitting coming.
Oh, yeah. Coming out of the timeout. Critical 4th down. Late in the going here in the first half. King Back to pass, tries to connect with his tight end, and almost does. Nice defensive play that time by James Bailey from his linebacker spot, defending on the tight end. And Alex Leslie couldn't bring it in for Houston. Fresno State will take over on downs with 1:11 left to go.
Yeah, and this ball seemed to be a little bit off timing. I think the pressure had something to do with that, or got tipped, it looked like. And then it actually fell into Leslie, but
almost
didn't hang on to it.
It looked like it almost slipped out of his hands.
Well, I think it was tipped near the line of scrimmage. I think it came out okay, and then as it crossed the line of scrimmage, it started to flutter.
Well, it could have been completed, and James Bailey made a nice play to prevent that from happening and turn the ball over to his offense. Good look at Bailey there. Junior from Austin, Texas. So let's see what Fresno State has in mind here in the final minute of the first half. McMarion looks around, finds Shamir Jordan, a first down.
Smart play, bought some time, extended the play, and found Jordan over the middle. Gives you some confidence if you're Jeff Tedford that you can run a 2-minute drill here.
2 timeouts remaining for the Bulldogs. McMarion downfield. That was a tough pass. Well covered that time. Tried to hit Jamari Scott, but Matthew Adams from his linebacker spot was all over.
Yeah, Adams was underneath that throw the entire time, and it was a very risky throw by McMarion. He's underneath that thing, and so it was going to take a perfect throw. That might have been picked.
Second down for the Bulldogs. 51 seconds left to go till half. Hoke in motion out of the backfield. Underneath, McMarion finds his tight end, who has a nice little game. Jared Rice, who's had a big first half, takes it into Houston territory.
Yeah, and that's a good pickup, but how about the effort from number 10, Oliver, racing down the field? We told you about his motor. This is a guy who rushed the quarterback and then goes down the field to make a tackle.
McMarion has his pass batted down. Incomplete on first down. Peyton Turner, the true freshman, making the play to bring up second down.
Yeah, we tried to show you. Let's go back to that last play. Just watch the effort at the end here. Look at number 10. That's Oliver.
So fast, he didn't even stay in our screen. Ran right out of our screen.
I love it.
34 seconds left to go. Ball at the 44-yard line of the Houston Cougars. We get 2 timeouts for Fresno State. McMarion in the gun. Pressure picked up, can't connect with his receiver, and the official throws his hat, which means that Keyshawn Johnson stepped out of bounds. Wouldn't have done him any good to catch the ball anyways.
You still have plenty of time. You got 30 seconds. You got a couple timeouts. You don't have to abandon throwing the ball over the middle of the field. You can certainly do that and use the timeout. So there's no sense. There shouldn't be a sense of panic right now.
You got a kicker with a strong leg in Camacho.
You tried a 56-yarder.
Clearly you have faith in him. You have confidence. Big third down though, both squads. McMarion on the draw. Spins for a first down.
What a smart decision. He recognized the blitz right away and then ran away from it. Looked out there, saw it coming from his right, took off to his left, picked up the first.
Clock starts as they spot the football, and we have a flag.
I don't understand that.
Our officials discussing it.
You know, you've got 2 timeouts. You just pick up a first down. You know, you can be patient. Hurry, but don't rush.
Do you like using a timeout there or keep it in your pocket?
I think I might have used a timeout there. You know, 20 seconds, you're in field goal range. You know, you still have another timeout you can use.
The officials might be speaking to Major Applewhite. I don't know what they're speaking to Major Applewhite about.
False start. Offense, number 73. The clock was running with under 1 minute to go. By rule, there is available 10-second subtraction. However, Fresno State will take a timeout to avoid the subtraction.
Yeah.
It's a 30-second timeout. It's their second timeout of the half. First down.
Well explained by Jason Autry.
Now, see, if you pick up the first down and you call a timeout, you still save your time. You're good. You don't have to blow it. But you got your linemen that are a little bit antsy, and you rush it to the line of scrimmage, you get a false start penalty.
This is the play that got the first down for McMary, and immediately saw it wide open in the middle of the field.
Yeah, he saw that blitz coming from his right, made a quick decision.
It's Coach Tedford talking to his offense, trying to dial up a play here. They'll scrimmage from the 38-yard line with 20 seconds left to go. They do have one timeout. They had to use one of their two remaining there to prevent the 10-second runoff.
Yeah, so keep in mind right now you're looking at about a 55-yard field goal. So you'd like to make that closer. Your guy's got a strong leg. He missed a 56-yarder, but right now you got 55 in your back pocket.
Camacho's long on this season is 50 yards. Just to give you some reference, McMary underneath to his tight end, Rice again.
Smart. Well done.
Rice has had a big first half. He's almost like a big receiver. He comes in at 6'5", 228 pounds.
Yeah, he's really an extended wide receiver. He's not a true tight end, not a blocking tight end.
4 catches for 60 yards in the first half for Rice. 15 seconds and counting. McMary underneath again to Rice. He'll pick up the first down and get out of bounds inside right at the 21. Isaiah Johnson wrestling him out. But now you got 10 seconds, and you still have a timeout in your back pocket.
You got 10 seconds with the timeout. You can take a shot to the end zone. I mean, you should feel pretty good about your ability to make a field goal from here. So you can take a shot to the end zone if you get the matchup that you want. And remember, you got Keyshawn down at the bottom on the left of the screen.
Marion looks his way, going to the end zone for Keyshawn. Went broken off his route, and that one just sails harmlessly out of the back of the end zone. 4 seconds, now you got to try the field goal.
That's a good 2-minute drill.
Camacho comes in. If he nails his field goal, he ties the Fresno State single-season record. Already has 23 field goals made on the season. This one from 39 yards.
Timeout. Houston, second charge timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
Major Applewhite doesn't want to take him with him. Of all the intrigue we have here during the first half of this game, I'm getting texts and tweets about Christmas movies.
Why not? Don't be screwed.
Rod is right. No Christmas movie comes out in July. That's the latest one I've done.
Hey, I know I'm right when Jamel Hill's on my side. And she is, so we're good.
All right. So far, it seems like the public opinion is swaying in your favor.
Well, it's hard to explain that. You know, that July, a summer blockbuster, is a Christmas movie.
Camacho will put his toe into it. And from 38 yards, he nails it.
And who doesn't love Hans Gruber? Schieß dem Fenster. Schieß dem Fenster.
Shoot the glass. That gets us to halftime here in Honolulu. 13-10 as Camacho ties the single-season Fresno State record. Superman on this day because he gives the Bulldogs the lead. Jeff Tedford signaling along with the officials that the kick is good, and standing by right now with Shelly Smith.
How did you get your quarterback to calm down and get into that kind of a rhythm?
Well, it's been a little bit of time off, so he had to get used to the speed of the game again, and we start protecting him a little bit better, and got some guys to break open. So we just got to protect him a little bit better, give him some time to get his vision downfield.
And what can you do adjustment-wise to help crack this open?
Well, it's a tough ball game. They're a really good football team. Defense is playing well. We just gave up some big plays. We got to limit the explosive plays, and we'll be okay.
Great. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Shelly. Our halftime score, 13-10. Fresno State leads Houston. After the break, Adnan Vert, Joey Galloway, and Jesse Palmer are in the studio with some bowl updates. as we open up the scoring with Ed Oliver scoring his first career touchdown. Since then, though, it's been mostly Fresno State and Marcus McMaryion. We got a good one here at the half.
We're watching Capital One Bowl Mania.
Welcome back to the Hawaii Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. One of the many volcanoes here in the Hawaiian Islands. 13-10, Fresno State leading Houston at the half. Defensive struggle, as we very well may have expected it to be. Chris Cotter alongside Rod Gilmore here in the booth. Shelly Smith is the third member of our crew. She's standing by on the sideline. Here's an interesting situation here with Ed Oliver. Had a very good first half, as you would expect.
Well, we said he was impactful. We saw him make plays down on the sideline. Got a chance to run it from the backfield. Got himself a touchdown, his first ever score. And then again, that speed and athleticism, making plays all over the field. And we talked about his relentless motor. And check this play out. Rushing the quarterback, sprint down the field to make a tackle.
Marcus McMaryion has had himself a heck of a first half, though. 19 of 30. It took him a while to get going, Rod, but once he did, he was really got into a rhythm.
Yeah, a little shaky to start. Then he got it going. He completed 11 of 12 at one point, and you could just see him grow with confidence, throwing on the move, throwing from the pocket. And then he managed to sneak in somewhere in that pile and get himself a touchdown as well. Not a lot of teams, neither one of these teams running the ball very well, so it was through the air that things really got done. That was Keyshawn Johnson with a catch. And then on the other side, De'Eric King hasn't really been able to get untracked. They haven't, in my view, given him the ball enough to run. Only 2 rushes, 7 yards, 50% completion so far.
Well, these two teams are combining for 54 yards rushing there in the first half, so it's been very tough sledding on the ground. Fresno State gets the ball to start the second half with the lead, and Damari Scott returns it out outside near about his 22-yard line. Shelly Smith, what do you got?
The coach said, he goes, we got to mix it up better. We got to get better pressure. This is, something that they've insisted that they have to do better, and they said they will. And he also said, I said, will Ed Oliver run the ball again? He goes, we hope so. We hope we get close enough. Ed was dancing in the tunnel as they came out. And I said, is this his official Heisman campaign kickoff? And the coach just laughed and said, yeah, why not? that was what it was.
All right, Shelly. Well, the good news is he's able to dance on that foot after he stepped on a sea urchin earlier this week. And there was some concern that he might be in a lot of pain. Maybe he is, but clearly the adrenaline of the game hasn't worn off for Ed Oliver, as that foot appears to be fine.
Yeah, as good as he is playing at that nose position, I've felt that he's really naturally more a defensive tackle, a 3 technique, or a guy who plays over the shoulder of the guard, as opposed to a guy who's over the center where you get double teamed all the time. I don't think at the next level he's big enough to be a nose tackle. I think he's a
fake to Hogan, and McMaryion keeps it. He's going to get the first down and a whole heck of a lot more, and carried it out to the 37-yard line.
Quick,
second time we've seen McMaryion make the right read and pick up a big chunk of yards.
Quick, smart decision making. He doesn't hesitate. He reads it quickly, and he's not afraid to hang on to the ball.
Big old Micah St. Andrew out in front of him, number 73, paving the way for a Bulldog first down. Hands off to Hogan. Finds a gap right side, picks up about 6, 7, counted off at 7 yards. Good first down gain.
Yeah, that really works. Again, you're better off trying something on the edge, getting away from the middle on those plays when you feel like you need to run, because you don't have to deal with Oliver inside. Despite what I think is a pretty decent job by Aaron Mitchell, the center. He's holding his own inside there. He's a guy who's played some really good guys, and this is his biggest challenge.
Yeah, you think about earlier in the season, taking on Alabama, taking on Washington and Vita Vea. Hogan again with the carry, this time bottled up. Picks up maybe a yard before he's dropped on the play by Gerard Carter.
Here you see again, good penetration. Oliver's involved with it, not alone there. Carter also involved. He is so quick and disruptive. I think that's why you want him not playing over the center all the time. Easier to double team him right there, and he gets double teamed almost every play.
Shante O'Neal, the fake the handoff to him. McMarion keeps it again up the middle, loses the football, and Houston has recovered. Terrell Williams fell on the fumble after a nice gain by McMarion, and Houston gets it right back.
Did he have a knee down?
That's close, but I think DeJuan Hines forced the fumble before that knee went down. We had to really slow that one down.
Well, you know, they look at every play in the replay booth. And that is so close.
I don't think you can overturn it. Do you?
I would tend to agree with you. And you know, when you're slowing things down frame by frame, that kind of distorts what's happening really out there.
Well, oftentimes when you see that, as we see Jason Autry, our referee, getting on the horn with John Lane, our replay official up here, it makes you see how good these officials really are. When we get to see it frame by frame.
Yep. So he's got the ball secured there. Now the left hand pokes the ball out, and that seems to be just slightly before the knee goes down.
I think it'll stand.
I don't think you have enough evidence to overturn the call on the field. And you might, in fact, be able to confirm it when you go frame by frame, that ball's coming out.
Well, if it stands, McMarion has an interception earlier in the game, and now he would have a fumble. And that's one of the things that you certainly highlight when you talk about the year Marcus McMarion has had, is he's taking care of the football extremely well.
Well, you know, you tend to forget there's been a long layoff. You know, Jeff Tedford talked about, you know, knocking off the rust. But again, he was in a rhythm taking care of the ball. Now, after a month layoff or whatever it's been, you know, you're starting from scratch, essentially.
Our officiating crew continues to discuss the play as John Lane, our replay official upstairs, is looking at this very play right here. Ruled a fumble on the field. DeJuan Hines, the all-conference linebacker, knocking it out from McMarion's hand, just as, I mean, it's a split second either way, but I don't think it's enough to overturn it.
That's going to stand. That should
After
stand.
further review, the ruling of a fumble is confirmed. First down, Houston.
There you go.
Jason Autry confirms the play. Now we are going to have Houston with an opportunity to see what they can do with a turnover. No points from the last turnover.
Right.
Let's see what they can do with this one.
Well, and that's important. You have to get points when a team turns the ball over. You have to make them pay. Otherwise, the turnover does you no good.
Can De'Aaron King get untracked?
He's got to run it some more.
Or he'll give Mulbacar an opportunity to see what he can do in the middle, and he powers his way to a gain of about 3.5.
You know, it's pretty simple in my view. You talk about offensive football. You want your best players, your most dynamic playmakers, to handle the ball. And King's one of your most dynamic, and he's not had a chance to run with it much tonight.
Carr gets another opportunity. Changes his direction. He'll pick up about 3 more. It'll bring up 3rd and a long 4.
Look, and give some credit to this Fresno State defense. This is an active, very fast, very tough defense. You think about Fresno State back in the day. Jim Sweeney is the coach and what he started. Handed that over to Pat Hill. Toughness and speed. And this is what this defense has.
King on 3rd down. Quickly out front into the corner. He finds his man, and that's going to be Dunbar again, who had a big first half. Continues into the second half. First down by Houston into Fresno State territory.
So many of his catches this season have come on 3rd down. Coming into this game, he made 30 of his catches. Almost half on 3rd down.
Duke Catalan now in the backfield. Catalan tries the left side. He'll pick up maybe 3 before Jeffrey Allison is there to put the stop to it.
Are you surprised at how well the Fresno State defense is playing and the quickness that they show?
No. Not given the fact that, I mean, some of the things they've done this year, especially when you look at a game against San Diego State, holding them out of the end zone in San Diego with Rashad Penny. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
That's one of those double takes. You have to really think about that. How on earth were they able to accomplish that? Catalan finds an opening. Quickly closes down, but he's still able to pick up about 4 yards. George Helmuth with the stop. It'll bring up 3rd and 3. Yeah,
Braylon Jones, the left guard, did a tremendous job on a double team, came off, got to the linebacker, gave Catalan some room in there. Now they've got a manageable 3rd down.
Now he runs it. King slithers his way around the left side, stays on his feet, inside the 20, down to about the 19-yard line. What a run by King. There you go, Rod.
Told you so. Look, he's incredible. He's a great athlete. He's a guy that they used as a receiver, as a kick returner. See him run through tackles.
Staying on his feet after that
great
big hit.
Balance. Yeah. That's the longest run from scrimmage for Houston tonight.
Now they've got something going here at the 20-yard line in the red zone. King, design run on the draw. Patiently waits for a hole to develop, and it never does. George Helmuth there brought the lumber.
I like the change. I like the adjustment. Get him the ball, let him run some, and even when you don't get something out of it, you're changing the math. You are forcing the defense to account for the quarterback in the run game. And in the pass game, you may get more one-on-one coverage.
Pickup of just a yard before Helmuth is able to drop King 2nd and 9. Catalog hammered.
Forrester
wow. And Atkins.
Wow.
That wasn't going anywhere.
6'1", 295 from Annapolis, Maryland. Quickness moving inside. There he is. Gets a little bit of help from Kevin Atkins as well, the redshirt freshman.
Now it's 3rd down and 11 for the Cougars if they can keep this drive alive. Boubacar out of the backfield. King keeping it again. Spins his way inside the 15, down to the 14. KK made the stop, keeping him from the 1st down, so it brings up a very interesting 4th and 4. And with it being just a 3-point game, Major Applewhite is saying, let's tie this thing up after a nice drive.
Absolutely, that's the right call. I mean, you just picked up a lot on 3rd down to give yourself an automatic field goal and tie the game. That's a good drive. You've got to come away with points. Remember, this is after a turnover. Make them pay for the turnover.
31-yard attempt for Cade Novikov. And Novikov sends it through the uprights, tying our contest at 13 apiece. So Houston does take advantage of the Fresno State turnover to knot things up here in Honolulu. Welcome back to the Hawaii Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania here on ESPN. The island of Oahu, Honolulu. Gorgeous. Gorgeous week, gorgeous night. 13 all. Fresno State and Houston. Mele Kalikimaka.
I think we should volunteer for this assignment every year.
I do. As a matter of fact, I start pining for it as soon as I get back. Turnover story now finally starting to tell a little bit of a tale. Fresno State turning it over twice, and Houston finally making it pay for it with that last field goal to tie things up. Novikov sends Damari Scott into the end zone where he makes the catch. 13-13, Houston and Fresno State. Midway through the 3rd quarter. Got a good one shaping up here. Don't go anywhere, folks.
The Hawaii Bowl, brought to you by Sheridan Resorts in Hawaii. Explore more at SheridanHawaii.com. And the Lincoln Wish List Sales Event.
Mele Kalikimaka from Oahu. Gorgeous Christmas tree in downtown Honolulu. 13-13, our score, the Hawaiian Bowl. Fresno State, Houston, all knotted up midway through the 3rd quarter. Fresno State will Now scrimmage from their own 25 after turning the ball over in their last possession that led to a field goal to tie things up for Houston. Let's see what Marcus McMaryion can do coming back from putting the ball on the carpet. Jordan Mims keeping it. Squirts through the line, picks up about 4 yards.
I thought it was interesting what Tedford had to say yesterday about this team and winning 10 games, and also his time away and coming back as a head coach, and that what he really missed was the players and the relationship with them. And he mentioned his relationship with Aaron Rodgers, with Trent Dilfer, our good buddy, you know, and what those things mean to him now. And he's much more focused on what these young men will be and helping them become something as opposed to just the X's and O's.
Short gain that time by Mims again. And, you know, I mean, let's keep in mind, he also not only played for the legendary Jim Sweeney in Fresno State, but also was on his staff for a while. So he comes from that lineage. Jim Sweeney had a lot of coaches work under him over the years and had a great deal of success in their future endeavors.
Well, he said going back to Fresno was like stepping in a time machine, going back home. Same people, same buildings, same things.
Big 3rd down and 5 now for Fresno State. McMaryion has time. Over the middle, completes. Keyshawn Johnson finally gets loose, and he carries it all the way into Houston territory down to the 41.
Oh, how good was that? Great protection made this happen. McMaryion had plenty of time. He had to wait for Keyshawn Johnson to clear and come across the middle. He got great protection, and he delivered a 29-yard pass play.
And now McMaryion out to Johnson again. Another 1st down, so now he's getting into rhythm once again, as we saw in the first half. When he starts to complete a couple of passes, he really seems like an almost completely different quarterback.
He's on a streak, you know, and his confidence gets going. You watch him like this, and you wonder, how did Oregon State let him get away?
Well, he's led Fresno State to a 9-4 year after coming in and starting the 4th game of the year. Fakes the handoff, rolls right. Has room if he opts to keep it. He passes it to his tight end once again. 1st down inside the 15, and Jared Rice is having himself a career night.
That's a dime. That is a dime. Yes, a good catch by Rice, but how good is this throw? Rolling to your right. You can tuck it and run or let it go. Eyes down the field and just a dime. That's good.
DeJuan Hines chasing him, and he decided to let it go and worked in his favor. Mims now inside the 10, gets down to the 7.
You know, you were on to something earlier about when they get a 1st down and they go tempo. The tempo seems to agree with them and seems to catch Houston just a little bit off guard.
Even running the football, it's really the only time all night they've been able to find at least a little bit of a crease and pick up 3, 4, 5 yards on running plays.
Agreed.
Mims again, the freshman from Palo Alto, in the backfield. Low snap handle. Mims corrals it, but he'll be dropped.
With a face mask to boot.
Leroy Godfrey with the stop, but the flag comes in, and the second time tonight, it's a loss on the play is going to end up being a positive play for the offense thanks to a face mask call.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 43. The penalty is half the distance from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
Second time tonight, we've seen a nice drop for a loss for Houston, end up being a positive play for Fresno State because of a face masking call.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Easy call to make there. Now, the last time Fresno State was down here, they used some quarterback run. They tried running inside. They decided not to throw, but 2 backs. Power game.
Polk at the bigger back. Takes the handoff deep in the backfield. He isn't going anywhere.
Nope, that's Carter. I mean, we've talked about Oliver, but one of the things that really helped Houston was getting Carter back this season and his ability to make plays when he's singled up because of the double team that goes to Oliver has been huge for this defense.
He had a foot injury, missed several games, came back in the South Florida game, and coaches just rave about him, the type of player he is. Coupling him with Ed Oliver. Loss on the play, brings it back to the 6-yard line. 2nd down and goal. McMaryion back to pass, way over the head of his intended receiver that time. Keyshawn Johnson will bring up third down. Leroy Godfrey putting the pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, he was feeling some heat and had to let it go. Houston is playing zone coverage down around the goal line, sort of a picket fence. And so the play is behind them if you get a receiver out there. Now, you got to have some time because Oliver is going to be coming.
And if they're running the picket fence, you can't get caught watching the paint dry. McMarion on the draw is going to keep it. Can he get to the end zone? He can. Touchdown, Fresno State.
He is decisive. McMarion has wasted no time on these plays. The draw, the scramble, and he's decided to take off, and that was a called quarterback draw play. He was very decisive as to when he put that foot in the ground and took off, and that made all the difference. He had room to get in.
Camacho on for the extra point. Splits the uprights. After the turnover led to a Houston field goal, Fresno State comes right back with a touchdown drive of their own to retake the lead, 20-13. Bulldogs on top. Marcus McMarion with a big bounce back after putting the ball on the carpet. Scores his second rushing touchdown of the night, just getting the ball across the plane. Fresno State has retaken the lead here late in the going in the third quarter of the Hawaii Bowl, 20-13. It was a heck of a drive, too. And, Rod, nothing seems to rattle this kid after fumbling the football, his second turnover of the game. He comes right back and leads a 9-play, 75-yard drive for the score.
Yeah, he's got some confidence going. He's in a rhythm. He's throwing the ball well. He started slowly. But after the first couple of series, he just really started to find himself. You see 23 of 35 now, 242 yards.
Houston now fumbling the kickoff. Ball is still loose inside their 15-yard line. This could be a huge play, and Fresno State comes up with it. Juju Hughes with the recovery on the muff kick, and that's a huge play. All the momentum now with the Bulldogs.
Miscommunication with the kick returners.
Yeah, Derek McLemore and John Leday ran into each other.
The ball was touched by the receiving team, recovered by the kicking team. The clock should have run 2 seconds. Please place the game clock at 4 minutes, 19 seconds. First down, Fresno State.
You know, Chris, the communication is simple down there. It's supposed to be, I got it, and you take it, you take it. You're not listening to each other. You have mishaps like that.
Critical special teams mistake by Houston gives the football right back to Marcus McMarion and this Bulldog offense. McMarion looks to strike early. Plenty of time. He'll go down. Coverage sack on that one. Matthew Adams got to him.
He's got to throw that away. Back of the end zone. And that's when you're too patient trying to make something happen when it's not there. He had plenty of time. First one's not there. Second one's not there. Comes back, extends it now throw it away.
Right there. He opted not to, and Matthew Adams made him pay. Critical play in a couple of ways here for Fresno State. Number one, it's a loss on first down. And number two, they're all conference center. Aaron Mitchell is down. Being attended to right now by the Fresno State staff, and there's a good look at the center.
Well, we've talked about his matchup with Oliver and also about just how good a season he's had. I mean, he faced some really good folks. You mentioned Vita Vea of Washington. He had Deron Payne of Alabama. Played well, and he's had a chance to be an NFL offensive lineman.
Yeah, he's, as we mentioned at the top, second team All-Mountain West, 37 consecutive starts. Came in as a guard, played his first couple of years as a guard for Fresno State, then made the move to center. There's Marcus Boyer on the left, getting some warm-up snaps with Marcus McMarion. He'll come in if Mitchell can't continue. And Mitchell, the senior from San Diego, is clearly in a little bit of pain. It looked like it was his right ankle they were working on. He's been down there battling in the trenches all day long with a couple of heavyweights when you talk about Gerard Carter and Ed Oliver.
You think about what he's been able to put on his resume with the guys that he's faced this year. There's some good film for him to show and say, hey, not only did I take on some tough guys, I've got some versatility. As you mentioned, he can play center, he can play guard. He's got a chance.
And he goes up against a guy like Vita Vea, who's 340 pounds, maybe, probably more.
Right.
And then he goes up against a guy like Ed Oliver, who's more of a head-up, zero technique nose guard, coming in at maybe 295. Look at his helmet. Look at the top of Ed Oliver's helmet, just from butting heads with the center all night long. Second down and goal now after the sack from the 16-yard line for Fresno State. Center, no problem. Out here to Keyshawn Johnson. Tries to slip a tackle, cannot. Will pick up about 4 yards. Alex Myers doing a nice job hanging on.
Well, you've got double screen play there. One to the right, one to the left, comes back to it. And now with this third down, it's important for McMarion to be patient and to take care of the ball. Even if you have to settle for a field goal here, it would give you a 2-score lead. And the way your defense is playing, you feel pretty good about that, right?
I would think so. And you get something out of the turnover.
Right, exactly. Got to make them pay for causing a turnover.
Third and goal from the 13, McMarion. Underneath to his running back. And Mims that time takes it down to about the 5-yard line. And that's where Fresno State now will attempt the field goal. Camacho coming on to Rod's point to make it a 10-point game. They'll mark it at the 7, which will make this 25-yard kick. And it's blocked and picked out of the air by the Houston Cougars. And they have an opportunity to score on this play. And they will. Alex Myers takes it to the house in a huge special teams play after a special teams blunder by Houston. Gets them right back in this thing. Jeremy Winchester blocked the kick, and Alex Myers picked it up out of thin air and rumbled down the sideline to score for Houston.
Coming off the edge, and then a convoy. How about that quick recognition for that special teams, that defensive team, to not only get the block, but to quickly determine, let's get out and provide some blocking and get a 94-yard return. And that's a legitimate block. That's coming off the edge, getting it done.
Jeremy Winchester with the block. One cornerback with the block. Starting cornerbacks. One starting cornerback makes the block on special teams. The other starting cornerback, Alex Myers, picks it up out of the air and takes it to the house.
Yeah. See, watch Winchester off the edge. This is just really good stuff. Not a slow kick or anything like that.
And then he turns around and throws a block.
Gets a block. And then Myers on the other edge comes up with it, and he's got guys hustling, providing a little convoy for him. That's some serious special teams work right there.
So Houston muffs the kick and gives it to Fresno State in the red zone. It could have been a 2-score game. Instead, a special teams, a great play by Houston special teams, ends up tying the game.
Go back to the non-throw away by McMarion. He throws that ball away. You know, they're in a better position, and maybe you never have that long third down play.
It's amazing, but Houston on special teams just made up for a really bad play with a really good play. Just like that, we're even.
The bad and the good, right? Actually, the bad was really ugly, too.
So we saw it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That was beautiful for Houston. All tied up at 20 late in the third quarter. Mims trying to make something happen. Dances to the 25. A flag comes in.
Wow.
Well, we had a little bit of a slugfest here in the first half, Rod. Now we got a game that's going up and down the field.
What a swing, though. You go from the chance to go up by 2 scores to being tied.
Yeah, for sure.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 80. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
And this mistake is going to put Fresno State even deeper into their own territory. Coming up after this game, John Butchagras and John Anderson are going to have Sports Center. Cowboys are eliminated. Hear from Jerry Jones on the end of Dallas's playoff hopes and all the playoff scenarios, plus a look at LeBron James on Christmas Day, right after the Hawaii Bowl here on ESPN. Cowboys eliminated. What a day in the NFL. I can't wait to hear what Jerry Jones has to say about that. Can't wait to see what this game brings here in the final quarter and 2 minutes and 43 seconds. And right now it's bringing up a fired up Houston team.
There he is. We talked about his quickness. That's Oliver. That's your Outland Trophy winner. There is the guy who may be the best player in college football and maybe the #1 pick in the draft of 2019. His quickness. Look at that. Gone.
And that's Aaron Mitchell back in the game. The starting center for Fresno State went out with an ankle injury. Now he's back. It's 3rd and long. 2nd and long, rather, for Fresno State. McMarion back to pass. Has a receiver. Heck of a catch that time by Jameer Jordan.
I want to go back to Oliver for a second. I was talking to Chris Selfo, the offensive line coach at Houston. How do you deal with Oliver? He says, you know what? He's legit great. He says, I've coached against Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald, Gerald McCoy. He's in that category. Those are the 4 best defensive linemen he's ever coached against, game planned for. And he said, they're all freaks, they're all the same. And that guy is the next in line.
You got to double him. You got to run away from him. You got to have the screen game into effect. A lot of run-pass options. Fresno State has done all they can tonight. McMarion goes up top, and he's got a receiver open, and what a great catch by Jordan.
What a way to lay out. 37 yards. A little strong with the throw, or else he's still running, but just watch what a tremendous job you get from Jordan here. Tracks it, lays out. That's awesome.
Jordan averages 23 yards coming into this game on his 21 catches on the day. He's the #1 deep threat for this team, and he proved why on that play. Now Johnson snags it out of the air. Gets to the sideline, picks up another first down. Here we go again.
You know, as good as McMarion is showing us he is this afternoon, what do you think he's going to be like next year when he's had a spring practice, when he's had a summer to work with his receivers, and he's had a full fall camp? People forget. He did this when he showed up. They were 2.5 weeks into camp.
This could be a free play right now for Fresno State. And McMarion's trying for it all. Jordan almost brought it in. Jeremy Winchester, nice job of defending on the play.
Yep.
All of a sudden, things are opening up here.
I know you have to love this.
Offside. Defense, number 98, in the neutral zone at the
Gets
time of the
his hands
snap.
on it, but a
5-yard
tremendous
penalty,
play.
first down.
Winchester.
Had the block kick. Now makes a great play on that one. You're seeing some great play in this game.
Yeah. You know, I was talking about McMarion. You mentioned he showed up August 12th. First day there, he ate lunch in the dining hall by himself.
In the corner of the hall.
Didn't have to do that anymore.
Didn't want to be presumptuous in terms of what type of a leader he would be. Now he's a heck of a leader on this team, and he's trying to lead him to a Hawaii Bowl victory. McMarion scans the field. Flushed out of the pocket. Hits his receiver for a short gain. Keyshawn Johnson now becoming more and more involved on every single series for Fresno State.
Well, they've got it working. They've got Johnson underneath. They've got Jordan running deep, taking the top off the coverage, creating that space underneath. And you've got your quarterback in a nice rhythm.
This receiving core, you mentioned how good McMarion might be next year. Johnson's back. Jordan's back. Jared Rice, who's having a good game, is back. Hoka up the middle. Has some room. Sidesteps a tackler. Gets inside the 15.
Oh, what a job up front. Aaron Mitchell and company right inside. A little double team, peel off and get the linebacker. And Hoka has a chance just to get right in behind him.
Terrell Williams made a touchdown saving tackle on the final play of the third quarter. Man, these two teams were slow in getting it going offensively in this game, but since then we've seen special teams, we've seen offense, we've seen it all. We're poised for an outstanding fourth quarter too. 2020 all tied at the Hawaii Bowl. Sun has set literally here on the island of Oahu. Welcome back to the Hawaii Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania on ESPN, and literally on our 3-and-out fest that we had here in the first half. Rod, we had 7 3-and-outs in the first half, but since then, these two teams have really picked up the pace, not only offensively, but making big special teams plays too. Yeah,
slow start, knocking off the rust, and that man there, McMarion, in the third quarter, he was 10 of 11 for 135 yards. You talk about being streaky. After he knocked off the rust in the first quarter, he's been fantastic.
And after he fumbled the football in the third quarter, he came right back and led him on a scoring drive. We're all tied up here at 20 apiece. Fresno State threatening. Not on that play, they weren't. DeJounte O'Neal dropped for a loss. Outstanding work that time on the defensive end by Zach Vaughn.
Well, he was slanting, crashing inside, and also, you know, you had good work on the outside, but Ed Boulay, you know, he's done a good job on that edge. We showed him earlier, turning plays back inside, when he's brought stuff in, when he's attacking, he's made good plays. There he is.
Second down and 13 for the Bulldogs. Hogan in the backfield. McMarion looks to run it. Now he gets bottled up, throws it away dangerously out in the flat. Vaughn again applying the pressure.
Yeah, he didn't see Vaughn. He did not see him at all and was surprised when he showed up at the last minute and then decided, oh, yeah, I got to throw this away, and could get nothing on it. Had he thrown it a little harder, it might have been picked. But he doesn't see him. He doesn't see his, he shows up right now. Uh-oh.
Third and long for Fresno State. It's a good look at Vaughn, the junior from Round Rock, Texas. McMarion flushed out of the pocket by Oliver. Fake it, he keeps it. Inside the 15, inside the 10 before he's forced out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. Juwan Hines gave chase.
Yeah, and Oliver just about had him. But quick feet got him away, and there's Oliver down. Sea urchin?
Yeah, he's being attended to by this Houston staff. Just a reminder to everybody, if you didn't see the very top of the game, he stepped on a sea urchin this week on his left foot, right by the ball of his foot and his left big toe. It's very painful for him, but you can see he's even wrapped a little bit there on that left foot, but was fine to play and had an outstanding first half. Here you see him beating the double team.
Yeah, his strength and his quickness are amazing, and you talk about that sea urchin. He's still got, I don't know, tentacles from the sea urchin, whatever, in his
spines, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
He's not very happy right now, but he forced that play out of the pocket. Camacho on to kick the field goal. And it's good.
Timeout.
26 yards for the all-conference kicker, Jimmy Camacho, and Fresno State retakes the lead, 23-20 early on here in the fourth quarter from Honolulu.
Touchdown pass for Baker Mayfield. Jalen Hurts, he's going to walk it in on play action. Kelly Bud, touchdown. It's Chubby time in Athens, Georgia.
Boy, Rod, you talk about these 4 teams, 2 games, they just ooze intrigue, don't they?
Yeah, and that 1-4 matchup may be the 2 best teams, period, out there. Oklahoma and Georgia. Georgia has not seen a passing attack like what Oklahoma's going to bring. And I would think that Georgia's best chance would be keep away.
For sure.
Keep Baker Mayfield on the sideline, be physical, run the ball. Otherwise,
4 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards. And Georgia has big play capability running the football, as we saw this year, too.
I just see
no
Baker
big plays
Mayfield.
for Baker Mayfield. They got to limit that. Make him drive the length of the field every time he touches the ball.
I think that's an issue. I think they'll be able to put up points in that Georgia secondary.
Camacho sails it into and out of the back of the end zone for a touchback, and Houston will take over on their own 25-yard line, now trailing 23-20.
You think Nick Saban likes having that 4 opposite the
I think any of his
Crimson
players
Tide?
have ever said 4. We're never number 4.
That'll get them motivated.
Speaking of number 4s, De'Aaron King wears number 4 for the Houston Cougars, and he's going to have to get something going, isn't he?
This is only the second possession of the second half for Houston.
That's right. They had the field goal kick blocked for a score to get them to tie the game, but Fresno State has chewed up some clock with an offensive possession of their own and retaken the lead. King fires it quickly. Out to his receiver, gain of about 8 yards that time.
He's been standing on the sideline for so long. You've got to get some rhythm, some flow, some confidence back for the offense because, again, 1 possession until now.
Stephen Dunbar, big receiver. He's had a big game tonight for Houston. 2nd down and 2. Bulbacar puts his head down. He is met in the hole that time by George Helmuth. That was a collision.
I like this defense. I like the way they fly around. I love the speed. I love the toughness. You talk about what's coming back next year for Fresno State. This team has a chance.
Back.
They'll be pretty good.
Defensive coordinator Steinhauer says his care factor is high. I like the way he said that. Big 3rd and inches now for Houston. Go with Carr again. This time he'll pick it up. So Houston keeps the drive alive with Carr on the ground.
And Allison in on that tackle. And he's only a sophomore. You talk about what's coming back for them next year. Jeffrey Allison, first team Mountain West Conference, 6'1", 250, sophomore. He's only going to get better.
Yeah, they really love him. And get your safeties back. Juju Hughes, we saw, made a huge play earlier in the day. Mike Bell. Here's Carr again, hit hard. Jeffrey Allison.
Wow, and that's a good front up hit. I mean, head up, eyes open, leading with the shoulder.
A few words exchanged afterward.
Yeah, watch number 9. Watch him just flow to this. 250 pounds. He'll just flow, scrape on around here, gets by a block, and look at that. Wrap it up. Lead with the shoulder, wrap up. I love the tackling on this defense.
2nd down and 11 after a loss of 1 on the play. King back to pass. Here comes the pressure, gets it off to Catalan, but he's snuffed out that time by Malik Forster. Big old Malik Forster, the captain from Annapolis, Maryland. Worked his way all the way to the left coast, Ron.
Yeah, at one point he was 325 pounds.
Houston goes quickly, and Bonner on the reception. Flag on the play. Let's see where this one goes.
Offside. Defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's going to be a big play because that was a 3rd down that, if that play stood, Bonner would not have picked up the 1st down. Now, granted, King may have saw that flag and realized he had a free play on it.
Yeah, and that was Okeke who was offsides.
3rd and 7 now for the Cougars. Fresno State bringing pressure, picked up, and King can't connect with Dunbar.
What a job by Johnny Johnson. I mean, they brought everybody. This was a jailbreak blitz. They just brought it all up the middle. That left Johnny Johnson in single coverage out on that left side. There's the pressure. Now Johnson knew, smart play, that whatever was going to happen fast. And he jumps his route. It's a good job.
Johnson's play will force a punt.
Yeah, no reason to lay off a guy when you know that you're bringing that much pressure.
Dan Roy, end over end punt, good kick. Rivers calls for a fair catch, makes it at his own 17-yard line, and that's where the Bulldogs will take over, leading this game 23-20. Melikalikimaka, everybody, from Honolulu.
The Hawaii Bowl, brought to you by the Hawaiian Islands and the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere.
23-20 our score. Fresno State leading Houston early fourth quarter. And if our coaches, they're Jeff Tedford and Major Applewhite, have proven anything to us tonight, Rod, it's that they can coach a whole heck of a lot better than they can dance.
Yeah, I'm not giving them gold stars for that.
And Luau was...
Hey, but they were enthusiastic.
No question.
Give them that.
And I think they might have known something about the way this game was going to go, because we've got a good one for you. Fresno State with the lead. Marcus McMarion has been outstanding tonight. Back to pass. Over the middle. Completes it. In traffic. To his tight end, Kyle Rittering. His first catch of the night.
Yeah, there was no room at all in there. Matthew Adams was all over him.
Into about 6 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 4.
Notice how they change tempo, and if they get a first down, they will pick it up.
Yeah, now
right now it's clock. It's managing the clock. Might be too soon for that.
Scott in motion. McMarion low snap, handles it. Trying to go deep. Can't find an open receiver. Has some room if he wants to run. He's just going to get the first down. Very smart play by McMarion to pick up what he could, move the chains.
Yeah, you know, earlier he was making that decision much faster. This time you could see he was waiting for the big play to see if he could get one down there.
First down for Fresno State. Clock winding inside of 10 minutes. McMarion out to his receiver. Jordan makes the catch. Minimal gain. He'll pick up about 5.
That's a tough throw. That's a long throw from one side of the field to the other. The ball in the air a long time.
All for a 5-yard pickup.
Yeah. If that ball hangs at all, it's going the other way.
Handoff to Mims. It's right into the teeth of that defense. He picks up maybe a yard. There's Ed Oliver saying, yeah, not here. You're going to have those 5-yard pickups on those long passes if you're going to want to move the chains.
Are you surprised how much Oliver has played with the sea urchin bite on the foot?
I'm not surprised at all. He said it was very painful, but again, taper and aspirin to that bad boy and get me out there. Last game of the year. 3rd down for McMarion. Surveys the field underneath. He hits his running back. Another first down. Mims with the catch moves the chains.
Yeah, good job by Mims to make sure he picks up the first down. Just an extra little jump at the end there, making sure he has it. That's a heady freshman. Smart, football savvy.
Clock continues to roll. 8.5 minutes left to go. Fresno 423 yards total offense on the day. Already more than Houston gives up on average. Hand off to Mims. Dances past the original line of scrimmage. Picks up maybe 2 yards. Like Goulet on the stop.
You know, you have to be happy for a guy like McMarion, who, just think about what he was thinking and how he felt on August 1st. August 1st, he was looking to leave Oregon State, thought he might not ever be a starting quarterback again, went home and had no assurance that he was going to be the quarterback here. Now he's in the Hawaii Bowl, having a heck of a night. Team with a chance to get a win.
Hand off to Hogan. Has a hole. Into Houston territory, lowers his shoulder, picks up an extra 4, 5, 6 yards before he goes down.
Yeah, Micah St. Andrew, the right guard, pulled on that play and gave Hogan a huge hole inside. Hogan read it perfectly and took off, runs through a couple arm tackles. It's a good job, really good job.
Blow to Terrell Williams rather than taking it.
Finishing the run.
First down from the Houston 37. McMarion back to pass again. Pressure comes, dumps it off to Hogan. Inside the 30-yard line, some big hits down there right now. Matthew Adams met him. You can hear the popping up here.
Now finishing a run, you want to lower the shoulder, not the helmet.
Hoke another opportunity, has some space, finds a hole, gets into the secondary, inside the 15, down to the 10. Hoke is running with abandon right now.
Well, he's getting some help up front. Talked about Michael St. Andrew, number 73 earlier, and a good job blocking down and then pulling around Muti and Kronk from the left side, creating a huge hole. Now, if you're Houston, this is where you have to make your stand. You can't give up a touchdown here. A 2-score lead, the way the Fresno State defense has been playing, that's a tall order.
They marked out Hoke at the 10-yard line, so it'll be 1st and goal for Fresno State. You can see Isaiah Johnson, the cornerbacks on this team, being looked at right now by the Houston training staff. It's like a right ankle issue for Johnson. 6:43 left to go in this one. Fresno State with the 3-point lead and driving for more.
You know, you told me earlier this week you felt like the Fresno State players were looser, just seeing them around. Is that right?
That way.
You know, maybe a surprise to a lot of people, because you start thinking younger team in a bowl game for the first time. Maybe some anxiety. Maybe they do the wrong thing. Maybe they spend too much time on the beach. You know, but no, they've been loose and they've played hard. They've played fast.
The other side of that conversation is Fresno State, lost 10 games last year. I mean, this is a team that you look at, you say they were predicted by the media to finish last in their division, in their conference.
Yeah.
And so maybe they're coming in saying, we've got nothing to lose, nothing much was expected of us. More was expected of Houston. They lost games at Tulsa, lost games at Tulane. Maybe a little disappointing season for them.
I think you're right. Those 2 losses, Tulsa and Tulane, for better or worse, kind of defined the season. This was a team that Major Applewhite certainly thought would win 9 or 10 games.
And had huge wins.
Yes.
At Arizona, at Temple, at South Florida, against Navy.
Yep.
I mean, they had big wins.
You can't explain those 2 losses.
Johnson will be taken off the field for further evaluation. 1st and goal now for Fresno State and Marcus McMarion. Has room if he chooses. No, floats it over the back of the end zone. Catch is made, but out of bounds. Johnson made the grab, but could not quite get a foot in.
He had Jordan in the left flat by himself most of that play. Didn't see him. But if he had gone to Jordan, Jordan had a chance to make a catch and run and get to the end zone. So he's not looking to his left. Jordan is out there by himself. He doesn't see him, and this is a difficult touch pass. Not a lot of room back there.
2nd down and goal. The running play for Rivers, the freshman. Shakes off a tackler to the pylon, and they're going to rule him out of bounds.
Did he get the pylon?
That's what he got the pylon.
If he didn't step out,
let's see. The officials are saying he did at the 1-yard line.
Yeah. If he didn't step out, he got that ball to the pylon. Question is, did he step out? Officials called that as he stepped out. Let's see.
He's hanging on and hanging on.
Ooh,
now,
that's not his
close,
foot.
Though.
That wasn't his foot.
That is close. They're going to look at this. And Jeff Tedford came out of the field to let the officials know that they needed to take a look at it. Now they've thrown a flag.
Yeah. Well, that's the rule that came into play this season. He says I was coming out to call a timeout, but you can't leave that area.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the head coach. The previous plays under further review.
Well, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, if they rule this as a touchdown, then that 15-yard penalty would be administered on the kick.
Right, it would be a dead ball foul.
Now Tedford is explaining his case. Let's take another look.
Now that right foot is in. Left foot doesn't touch, and that ball hits the pylon.
But the right foot does touch, though, about the same time. That right foot, to your point, it doesn't touch initially, but then as he dives for the pylon, the right foot does touch right about the same time that the ball hits the pylon.
Oh, let's see. Right
Not
foot
there.
in, left foot in. There.
And the right about
pylon.
the same time.
Again.
So close.
Yeah.
Well, this is not It has not been the easiest of nights for our replay official, John Lane.
Well,
See,
again, when we go frame by frame, you got a little bit of air underneath the foot, and there's your ball at the pylon.
No. NASA hasn't invented a camera that's fast enough for us to be able to capture.
I agree with you.
Frames enough to be able to make that
I don't believe that's enough. With that look, that's not enough.
Now, while John Lane looks at that replay, we have to figure out if they say that the play stands the way it is, all of a sudden it goes from 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line to 3rd and goal from the 16. That's a huge penalty called on Jeff Tedford.
It can't happen if you're Jeff Tedford.
He's still explaining his case right now to this crew.
No, but whether you come out to complain or to call a timeout.
That's what he's saying. He's saying, I wanted to call a timeout and I couldn't get anybody's attention. The officials aren't buying that explanation. Either that or, to your point, they're just saying it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But we've seen coaches come down and call timeouts before.
After further review, the ruling is confirmed. The runner stepped out with the ball at the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal. After enforcement of the unsportsmanlike conduct from the 16-yard line, 3rd down.
Oh, that is a big call. And Jeff Tedford cannot believe it.
Foul on the head coach.
Yeah, it can't happen.
He just cannot believe it.
And look, when you're trying to call a timeout, you typically have an official on your side, close to your sideline where you can go down. But to go out on the field, and now you're arguing, hey, you know, I did that so that I could get your attention, or were you complaining about the call?
And why did he want the timeout? Because he felt like the replay officials may not have buzzed down to replay that last play.
Yeah, but we know they're looking at every play.
For sure.
They're looking at every single play.
Well, they looked at that one and decided that, yeah, the running back, Rivers, stepped out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Now it's 3rd and goal from the 16. McMarion looks to throw. Flushed out of the pocket, still looking downfield, out of the back of the end zone.
That's the right play. Had nothing, throw it away. Now, if you're Houston, that flag on Tedford, huge, huge break because you're able to keep them out of the end zone. You can keep this a one-possession game.
This will bring Jimmy Camacho out, who already holds the record for single-season field goals made. 33 yards on this attempt. And it's good. Camacho extends the lead for the Bulldogs to 6 points. But there's 6 minutes left to go in this one. Major Applewhite knows his team dodged a bullet, and they're still in it. Jeff Tedford, wanting to call timeout, comes out on the field. Ends up being a penalty. Hurts Fresno State. 26-20 our score. Fresno State on top of Houston, 4th quarter here at the Hawaii Bowl. Moments ago, Ronnie Rivers, very close play, ruled out of bounds at the 1-yard line. And then Coach Jeff Tedford coming out saying, hey, timeout, timeout. The referee, Jason Autry, sees him on the field and throws his flag. 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty. Ends up being a field goal by Jimmy Camacho. Shelly Smith was right down there and heard the whole conversation. Shelly.
Yeah, they huddled for quite a bit of time, and Jeff Tedford did calm down, surprisingly. He did insist that he was calling timeout, and the referee said to him, it doesn't matter, you overstepped your boundaries.
All right, thanks, Shelly, for clarifying that. And that's what we thought happened, but clearly now Shelly heard the conversation. And instead of 3rd and goal from the 1, it was 3rd and goal from the 16. Ends up being 3 instead of possibly 7.
Yeah, it just can't happen. You know, it's too much damage to your team. It can't happen.
Well, now you got 6 minutes to make a stop, and Houston gets an opportunity. John Leday from his 3. Out to the 15. A heck of a special teams play that time by Fresno State. Mamaloa Mafi makes a nice play. We do have a flag on the play, too. Take a look at Mafi just submarining here to take down Leday at the 15.
Wow.
Let's get the call.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 18. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Alex Myers, guilty of the infraction. It's going to bring it back. Well, 'tis the season for Bowl Mania. We got 3 more for you Tuesday on ESPN, 1:30 Eastern. Utah takes on West Virginia at the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. Then at 5:15, Duke squares off against Northern Illinois in the Quick Lane Bowl. At 9 Eastern, Kansas State battles UCLA in the Cactus Bowl. Talk about a clash of styles in that one. All 3 games are available on to watch on ESPN, also on the ESPN app. Houston now needs a big drive, but they're backed up. Mulbacar tries to get done on the ground and gets hit, but spins off the initial tackle and picks up about 6 yards.
Yeah, that was James Bailey. Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's collision.
Yeah, a little slow getting up after that one. You know, we've talked about the speed and toughness with this Fresno State defense. They have delivered some hits. Keep your head up, though, son.
Carr does a nice job of spinning off to pick up 4 yards. King now back to pass. Up top, he has his man. Nice catch by Bonner, and he takes a hit and held on to the football. Mike Bell delivered the shot. Bonner is down a little bit on that one. Might have gotten a Charlie horse because, man, Mike Bell delivered it.
Well, you know, this is one of those things you talk about in terms of defenseless players. Bell goes low, and we want to encourage that. We don't want guys going after the head, but watch where he aims for this tackle. He goes low. And more coaches are teaching that now of, hey, you get a guy like that over the middle, you need to go low to the legs.
Bonner being looked at right now by the Houston staff.
He took a helmet.
He held on. It's right on that thigh, right where Mike Bell delivered the hit. And Fresno State defensive coordinator Orlando Steinauer said of Mike Bell, "I'll stick his head in the blender for you."
That does not sound good.
No, but it sounds like a guy who'll do just about anything to win a football game. And Mike Bell's a prototypical free safety, 6'3", 205 pounds, just a sophomore. Also said once this kid learns how to play that position right, he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would draw the line at the blender. So no, not going to do that.
That's it?
Yeah.
I'll stick my head in a lot of places without the blender.
I do a lot of things for you, Coach. With the blender, not going to happen. Although I do love these sayings that these coaches come up with.
Right, you wonder where they're coming up from with them. Linnell Bonner limps off. Hopefully he'll be all right. Houston's going to need him down 6 with 5:21 left to go in this game. They need him on a drive. Nice play by Bonner to hang on to that football for the first down.
They probably have 2 possessions left. This one and one more if you're a Houston fan.
First down for King. Protection breaking down, now flushed out of the pocket. Nice catch that time. Is it good? It is not. He's out of bounds. Tried to hit Dunbar. Couldn't stay in bounds. Gone under the 5-minute mark. Don't forget, fans tuned into ESPN3 for the postgame trophy ceremony presented by Capital One immediately following the game.
You know, you don't have to panic if you are Houston. Remember, some patience can work, and you can even have King run the ball. They did very well in one of the earlier possessions when he ran it a couple times.
Second down and 10. Now flushed. Gonna try and run it, he can't get away. Robert Stanley forced him out of bounds. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, and that's why I like the idea of running him on second down, create a manageable 3rd down, even if he doesn't pick up an awful lot for you. But now you've got a 3rd and long, and Fresno State's done a good job of not allowing him to get across the line of scrimmage. They forced him to the sideline, you know, on those containment breaks.
3rd and 14 for the Houston Cougars, trailing by 6. King downfield. And a heck of a catch made that time by Dunbar.
Did he catch that?
Right off his shoestrings for the first down.
I mean, that's like a scoop by a shortstop in the middle of the field. Getting it before it hops. That's a 16-yarder on 3rd and 14. He did catch that.
And the replay official is going to look at this one.
The ruling on the field is a completed catch prior to Fresno State calling timeout. The previous play is under further review.
So what you want to look for is the placement of his hands. If his hands are underneath the ball.
Oh, that's a catch.
It's good. And as a matter of fact, that ball does not even touch the ground. You know, I thought maybe there was a combination of hands under the ball, catching it, and touching the ground. That didn't touch the ground at all.
Stephen Dunbar, the senior from Metairie, Louisiana, playing in his final game in a Houston Cougar uniform. Wants this one to end on a positive note for he and his teammates. That's a heck of an effort. On 3rd and 14, too.
Yeah, and that was throwing into the teeth of an 8-man coverage. They rushed 3, dropped 8. Not a whole lot of spaces in there. But they found one.
After further review, the ruling of the completed catch is confirmed. First down.
Thank you, Jason, our referee on the night. Jason Autry, the Sunbelt crew, doing a fantastic job for us. Take another look at this catch.
Yeah, this is huge. Keeps the drive alive, converts a 3rd and 14. And I go back to what I said earlier, Chris. It's okay to run King.
How about Dunbar? 7 catches, 168 yards. 6 of his 7 catches have resulted in first downs, including that last one. And a huge first down as Houston keeps this drive alive. Fake the Catalan. Ball tipped up in the air. It's up for grabs and it's intercepted. Jaron Bryant picks it off and he could take it to the house. And he does.
That's as good a pick six as you will see.
Robert Stanley got his hand on it.
Yeah, and reading the 3-step, pulling the ball away from the receiver, not losing it, and then running through tacklers. I mean, that's as good as it gets. He had to do an awful lot to make that happen. And that ball could easily have been knocked down by the receiver, but he just ripped it away from him.
Camacho with the point after, and Fresno State extends their lead. The quiet leader, Robert Stanley, gets his big mid on the ball, and then Jaron Bryant picks it off and makes the most of it. Fresno State with the lead.
It's always been more than the music. You riding weights on the back of my cruise ship. Look, watch me, watch me, watch me do this. Since 2012, I've been the
33-20, Bulldogs extend their lead here at the Hawaii Bowl, and Jaron Bryant's pick 6 certainly maybe saving the bacon of his head coach Jeff Tedford, who had a costly penalty on Fresno State's last drive.
Yeah, nothing like picking up your coach, and this is just a ridiculous pick 6. Jump on that quick pass, rip the ball away from the receiver, run through a tackle, get into the end zone. You may not see a better pick 6 than that.
Right now, Houston is in a world of trouble at 3:49 left to go in this game, trailing by 13 points. An opportunity on the return. That's John Leday, who still doesn't go down. Now finally does at his 24-yard line. But what a game Nick Foles had last Sunday against the Giants. Tomorrow on Christmas, our Week 16 Monday Night Football matchup has Foles, Alshon Jeffrey, and the Eagles hosting Derek Carr. There you go, Fresno State fans. Marshawn Lynch and the Raiders. Philly needs a win to clinch home field advantage in the NFC. And all kinds of stuff happening today in the NFL, so anything could happen. Monday Night Countdown kicks off our coverage at 7:30 Eastern from the city of brotherly love in Philly. There's Derek Carr getting his jersey retired earlier this year in Fresno.
Hey, is it all right if I'm still upset about the Raiders moving?
It's all right.
Okay, good.
You can be.
Thanks.
I'm feeling you on that. King. Out to Dunbar. Short gain, but he gets out of bounds to save some clock. 3:35 remaining in this game. Houston now needs a quick score.
No doubt. No doubt. It's not impossible with the 3 timeouts, but they need to ratchet things up and get the ball down the field.
Oh, another nice catch that time from King. Finds Courtney Lark.
Now the problem for Houston is that Fresno State has really kind of dropped into this 3-man rush and drop 8. Not a lot of holes back there.
Outside again to Lark, falls out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. Johnny Johnson with the stop for Fresno.
Fresno State is willing to allow Houston to catch anything in front of them, so long as they make the tackle, keep them in bounds, run the clock.
Now in Bulldog territory, Cougars continue to look to move the football. Just a 4-man rush. King goes downfield. Can't hook up with Courtney Lark. Johnson again on the coverage for the Bulldogs. Second and 10 for Houston. 48 yards away from getting closer in this game. Screen pass, Dunbar. He'll pick up about 6. Kevin Atkins coming from his defensive tackle position, following the play to make the stop.
Well, 2 downs to pick this up, and they can take the short throw. Yeah, they're working their way close enough to be able to take a shot in the end zone.
Atkins rolls out. Nice defensive play that time by Johnson.
I gotta tell you, this Fresno State defense is much faster than I think people realize. They close in the secondary. Their linebackers can flow and move.
You just saw Kevin Atkins, 297-pound defensive tackle, make a tackle downfield. 4th down for Houston. Got to convert here, 4 yards away from keeping this drive alive. King back to pass, over the middle, finds Dunbar. Inside the 30, down to the 28. Cougars are still alive.
Now, if Fresno State switches up and brings a little pressure, you're likely to get the single coverage you want. You can take a shot. If not, you got to take the underneath throw.
King underneath this time to Carr. Can't come up with it. Big hit by Bailey. Carr's down. Steinauer, Fresno's defensive coordinator, said Bailey's our best athlete. Closes.
And it's a legit good play. He goes into the midsection, the numbers with his shoulder. Nothing wrong with that play. That's where you want to have them make that hit when the guy is defenseless.
Left exposed, trying to bring that pass in. He couldn't quite bring it in on his first attempt, and that spelled doom for his ribs.
But listen, there was a time when you would see guys go head hunting with that tackle.
No question. Nice play by James Bailey. It'll bring up a 2nd down for Houston. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in this one. They trail by 13.
Well, the problem for Houston is that they're using up so much of the clock right now that they may not have any choice if they get a score. They may have to do an onside kick.
Stephen Dunbar's had himself an amazing night. 10 catches, 197 yards. That's a career high for the senior. He might have to make a couple of more plays before this one's over if he wants to get his Cougars a win in his final game.
Not to mention that 3rd down and 14 catch that just looked ridiculous, impossible. Kept the ball from hitting the ground.
Right off his shoestrings. I think unless you score right now, if you're Houston, Rod, you're going to have to onside kick it anyway.
Yeah. I think you've got a very short window here. Very narrow window for scoring before you lose the opportunity to kick off and use your timeouts.
The fact of the matter is, Major Applewhite has kept his 3 timeouts here in the second half, so that's working in his favor. If they could score right here, or certainly in the next few seconds, he can hold those timeouts to get the ball back, even if they go for an onside kick and don't get it.
Correct.
First things first, though, Derek King has to lead him to a touchdown here. 5-man rush. King slips the Initial wave and gets into the secondary, takes a hit and stays on his feet. That kid's tough. Jeffrey Allison brought it, and he stayed on his feet down to the 17.
Wow. Whoa, that was a big hit. Allison, 250 pounds.
King is 5'11", 190. Up into the end zone, and Dunbar can't come up with it. He got the one-on-one coverage. Jaron Bryant makes another big play. King took a shot.
Bryant got his second pick six of the season just a little bit ago, and he's locked up in man coverage, reads the eyes, and turns around, plays the ball. That might have been a play that should have been caught.
King again on second down, flush from the pocket. Keeps his head downfield, decides to keep it, stays inbounds, tackled at the 10-yard line, but that clock is going to continue to wind.
Yeah, this is getting to the point where they may need to burn a timeout. I mean, those 3 timeouts are going to do you any good if you burn up all this clock.
Inside a minute and a half now.
I would have used one.
3rd and 2. King looks to throw, completes it inside the 5-yard line. Lark.
Yeah, I think they missed an opportunity with the timeout. I think they lost a good 20-25 seconds.
Clock stops initially for the first down. King. Now he gets dropped for a loss, but now they're going to have to use timeout number 1.
You know, those 3 timeouts.
Houston, first charge timeout of the half.
Great
this is
to
a
have
30-second timeout.
Great to have the defensive option of, you know, onside kick, not getting it, playing or kicking it off. But once you get inside, you know, that 140 mark or wherever they were, they needed to conserve some time. I mean, you're almost required at that point to try and score and go onside kick.
Now you have to score, and you have to recover the onside kick.
Yeah, you got no choice.
But it certainly would help them if they could score quickly so they could have a minute if they get the onside kick, because they have to.
Sure.
It's not like they have to move into field goal range. They've got to score another touchdown.
Right. But if they can do that and keep 2 timeouts, they have a shot.
Again, before we throw the cart ahead of the horse, they've got to figure out a way to put the ball in the end zone here against this tough defense. King looking to his right. Incomplete. And now comes the flag. James Bailey on coverage for Fresno State. They're going to flag him for interference. King was trying to hit Courtney Lark, who's still down on the turf.
Pass interference, defense number 7. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line, automatic first down.
So there you see the grab and the turn, and then the face mask at the end. I think there might have been a poke or so on Lark. Yeah,
looks that way. Lark is holding his right eye.
But the pass interference call was a good call. You saw the turn, the grab and turn, and that's impeding the receiver.
Correction, the ball will be placed at the spot of the foul at the 2-yard line.
As they continue to look at Courtney Lark, sophomore from Bel Air, Texas. Minute and 3 left to go in this contest, and Fresno State leads by 13. Ball be placed on the 2-yard line here, Rod.
It's almost worse, you know, because you have less room to throw the ball down there, and you may feel compelled to run it. If you don't get in, you're going to burn more time.
Post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One coming up immediately following this game on ESPN3. Houston trying to leave the recipient of that trophy in doubt. They need to put this in the end zone. Linnell Bonner in motion. King, run pass option. He's going to keep it, but he can't dance away. Now he does, but he has very little option, just throws it away. Had to do it.
The Chris, what happens when you get down here is because there's limited space, you can be more aggressive defensively. And so it's not as easy to throw passes down in there unless you get some sort of man coverage and you can run picks and whatnot. But if they're bringing pressure and they're playing zone down there, there's not a lot of room.
King with Catalan in the backfield. Sprints to his left. Nobody open. Now throws it into the end zone. Dangerously goes over the head of his intended receiver, Alex Leslie. James Bailey was there again, pressuring King into a bad throw.
Smart play calling defensively for Fresno State. Bringing pressure off the backside, not giving King the opportunity to get to the edge and use his legs.
And precious seconds ticking off the clock. We're down to 49 seconds right now, and we're also at 3rd down.
He may have to go ahead and take the shot, quarterback draw, something like that. Use his legs.
Bonner again in motion, back out. King looking for Bonner. He finds him and he scores. The Cougars get the touchdown they need just to stay in the game with 45 seconds left.
Took them a lot longer than they would have liked to get that. 2 timeouts left. And you know the onside kick will follow the PAT.
Caden Novikov for the try. Kick is up and it's good. The margin is 6 points with 45 seconds left to go. Houston has 2 timeouts remaining. Here's the touchdown again, Rod.
Yeah, just a little bit of an out route, a little confusion there between a couple of Fresno State defenders. You get Bonner completely alone. Now there's an art to the onside kick. You know, you can decide to try and top it so it bounces up so that your guys can go get it. You can target a guy and kick one directly at him really hard, have it bounce off and recover it. But there's an art. You just don't go up and just kick it and hope something good happens.
There can be a little deception at times too.
Yep.
Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go straight? Sometimes they have the play in where you kick it straight and the kicker tries to recover the onside kick. Generally, that's when it's not expected.
That's a surprise.
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to have all 11 players.
The punter, Dane Roy, is now going to kick the onside kick for Houston.
Nobody's deep. 11 at the line of scrimmage.
Goes left. Covered that time by Fresno State. And that might just about do it.
That did not give him the bounce.
Amani Parker falls on it for the Bulldogs, part of the hands team. And now with 42 seconds left, Houston only has 2 timeouts remaining. And it's going to be very difficult to be able to do anything with this clock. Tonight's Capital One player of the game. No surprise here for the Bulldogs. Marcus McMarion got off to a slow start, Rod, before really picking things up. And when he got into a rhythm tonight, he was unstoppable.
He had a couple of streaks in the middle of this ball game. At one point, he was 10 of 11. Another point, 11 of 12. They had no rushing attack. They had to get it done with his arm.
And he did just that.
Timeout. Houston, second charge timeout of the half. It's a 30-second timeout.
Houston calls their first of 2 remaining timeouts. 39 seconds left to go. Just hoping for some sort of a miracle on a snap, bad snap. Which never happens unless you're our former colleague,
Herm Edwards. Yeah.
And then it happens.
It's been a long time since that happened.
Yeah, long time. Not that long, though, Herm. Not that long.
Nobody hands it off anymore.
We certainly wish Herm a lot of success.
Houston, third and final timeout of the half.
In his next
it's a
venture,
30-second
Tempe,
timeout.
Arizona State.
Excited for him. I think he's going to be fantastic. I tell you, nobody can help lead young men like Herm.
And I can tell you what, the folks that are covering Arizona State, the media members, are going to have a ball. It will never be a dull moment for you guys. That's for sure. One final knee for Fresno State.
The ball be reset. It's third down.
Officials will reset it. And with one more knee from Marcus McMaryion, Fresno State will go from double-digit losses to double-digit wins 1 year to the next. Only the second time it has ever happened in FBS. What a turnaround for Jeff Tedford and the Fresno State Bulldogs. 33-27 will be our final from Honolulu. I want to wish happy holidays to everybody back home and our crew, Eric Postman, our producer, Jeff Montoni, our director, Naveed Kajani, which basically does everything. That's his job title. Mike Black, our spotter, Mark Amento on stats, Niall, our A2, Shelly Smith, and Rod Gilmore, who I really love working with you, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Great
a lot of fun.
buddy.
Appreciate it, man.
Yep, absolutely. Been a lot of fun.
All the time in Hawaii.
Anytime you want to work with me in Hawaii, let's just meet out here, right? Post game coming up on ESPN3. Trophy presentation coming up next here on ESPN. Stay tuned for SportsCenter with John Butchergross and John Anderson. They'll have the latest scores and highlights from all of today's action. Once again, our final score: Fresno State 33, Houston 27.